All right, this is Randalicious. Welcome to the 87th Hexis podcast. Some topics included in this podcast are going to be shooting stars, sailing, forestry part 2, the Hunter Guild, the Halloween event, and more. We're not projected to have time to discuss the Fortis Coliseum, the Perilous Moons, the new Jagus launcher news, and other greater community specific topics. There's so much going on right now that it is really impossible to realistically keep up. We'll try our best. I put out a tweet earlier that said within the last week alone, we got updates on shooting stars, forestry part 2, the Fortis Coliseum, the Perilous Moons, and there's still sailing coming as well. Slow the fuck down was my tweet that I made. But this and all future Hexis podcasts are going to be available on YouTube, Twitch, and Spotify. You can submit a topic in the Submit a Topic channel that we have in the Hexis Discord, and we'll give you a shout out if your topic gets added in on the podcast. Let's get it going. I'm Randalicious. I'm the leader of Hexis.
I'm Crayons, rank 43 iron, TNF stepdad, and I am a burnt out Iron Man these days.
I'm a Master Byro. I'm a officer in Hexis.
Hey, I'm Drag. I'm a friend rank in Hexis. I'm actually also known as Ozio. I used to play my Iron Man, but those days are kind of over, so I'm in Hexis now and enjoying my main.
What up, guys? Captain Motherfucking King, and I'm 32 overall.
Fuck yeah. All right, Cap. So we had a couple people that submitted some questions specifically for you. A lot of big fans. So you're one of the few people that have 200 mil all. Huge congrats on when you got that. What have you been up to since then?
I've been playing my shitty-ass group Iron Man. I've been playing Warzone. My group Iron Man team is Fentanyl.
Let's go. I love that.
I legit had to save someone who overdosed on fentanyl a month ago, and it was quite the thing. This guy,
It's a scary thing. It's a scary thing to see. I've experienced it at festivals, Randy. Whenever I go, I actually had back when I was doing security at clubs, some guy was ODing and foaming out of the mouth, and I had gloves on, thankfully. And thankfully he wasn't. He was seizing, but not to the point where his jaw was clenching. And I had to stick my fingers in his mouth, push his tongue down, and open up his jaw for his airway so he could breathe.
Man, dude, my dude, he was the passenger in a car, and pretty much he just overdosed while he was sitting in the passenger seat. And person pulling to the gas station, went over there. And this dude, no pulse, not breathing, just sitting in the passenger seat, blah. And took him out of there, gave him 2 doses of Narcan, and then set up an AED and started giving him CPR. And then eventually came back to life. It was quite the thing. So hope your guys aren't
What a tangent.
Yeah. was probably working on maybe some pets on my main. I've been going for Zalcano too. So,
what's been your favorite pet that you've gone for on the main so far?
KQ.
This is nice.
My favorite pet.
It is nice how we can kind of the transmog.
Yeah.
What did you like about KQ, just out of curiosity?
I don't. I just like the pet.
Oh, just the pet specifically. I was about to say, because I kind of think he's a dark, but the boss is kind of dog shit, bro.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Cat. This is a good one right here. So I had someone send me this picture. You remember a few years ago when we did the McNugget challenge?
Yeah, I remember that one. I still 40. I ate 40 of them in 20 minutes. I still beat you in 20 minutes. Fuck this hour shit. 2 hours, 8 hours, whatever the hell it is.
Oh man, so I sent you the picture of it. You get you can see your stages of the stages of struggle with the chicken nuggets.
Yeah, it was. There's some good times. Good times.
Yeah. Did you use sauce? Do you remember? Or was that dry?
I don't think I did. Maybe towards the end, maybe I tried, but I don't think I did. At the beginning, I don't really remember too much. I just want to eat 40 in 20 minutes.
That is pounding it. I'm trying to think how long it took me for like the 60 that I did. I know that after like 50 or so, I started to use sauce, but it would.
You sort of warm them up too, I think, right?
I mean, maybe because they were starting to get cold. So I mean, maybe well, yeah. Because I mean, it was a little bit of a drive to go from the like from McDonald's to like what was my dorm room at the time, but. Oh, that was some good fun.
Oh, yeah, it was.
All right, so going into some like actual more topics though is some shooting stars. So shooting stars were nerfed in the sense that it's now only AFK for 7 minutes at a time, as opposed to before when it was even longer. I mean, you're still able to kind of take a shower in terms of like the length of which you can AFK it, but what do you think about the nerf that they made to shooting stars?
Didn't they nerf it? Well, didn't they nerf Duke mining at first and then added the shooting star? So I guess it's better, but I feel like it just creates a problematic like unprecedence within the game where people or Jagex and as a whole is starting to listen to more of like the Reddit Andes and want super AFK high XP rates or some shit like that. So I'm not entirely a fan of the way the game's going. And I saw a tweet from Enjoys the other day talking about like the woodcutting records and stuff and it just made me realize that like skilling these days is not like a achievement like it used to be back in the day. Like it's just getting easier and easier and more AFK. Not really a fan of that, to be honest. But 7 minutes is better than 20 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, I guess in a way, yeah, 7 minutes. 7 minutes, I guess, is better. But I don't know. Like it's we have had shooting stars for what, a few years now. Like I don't know. They just it's in the game. It's been years, been months. I don't know why should they even change it. Like I've been doing like shooting stars on my group man, just AFK my ass off while I play like Warzone, and like I went from like 70-some mining, and I just hit 93 mining just the other day, and I'm not even paying attention. So, I don't know. Just getting more baby, devalued baby shit going on.
So as someone that's actively participating in it, how would you feel if it got, like, reverted back? So, yeah, like, it's been in the game for a couple of years, but it's only been kind of mega buffed to the point where you can AFK for that amount of time, only for what's been like a month or two. How would you feel like on your iron if that was something that got nerfed?
I would not give a fuck, to be honest. I play my group Iron Man just like AFK shit. I don't try to sweat it out. I just play extremely casual. Like whatever happens, happens. I mean, I guess it doesn't bother me. Like I got like it's 7 minutes AFK now and shit.
So the way I look at it, sorry to cut someone off, but the way I look at it is if they're doing this to mining, next they're gonna do it to like agility or like
no, I could see that. I agree.
Crafting, or like, you know, just the Reddit Andes are gonna complain and be like, oh, we want faster, because they'll be like, oh, a year and a half later I got 99 mining AFKing while I was sleeping. Can we do it for RuneCraft? And it just creates that unprecedented like
yeah, it devalues the whole game of like what Old School is actually supposed to be like main.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Actually, I've been bitching about this shit a lot myself recently, but I just don't like the whole direction of the whole AFK XP rates, really is what it is. I see the appeal in having AFK activities in this game, but I think the XP rates that they're offering for them are just out of control. And like, if I could give one example that I think something that is good, like I do this a lot myself. I think Dale is probably one of the most balanced AFK things there is in game. I mean, it's very low intensity, it's very rewarding, and you also get like very minimal XP, which like to most people, I'm sure that type of XP rate isn't very appealing. It's like, I think 8 or 9K an hour if you're paying attention. But that's what I think AFK should be rewarding, in a sense that it promotes you to actually play the game more. You know, I really hate to see skilling going down the way it is, and I hope that they change this soon because I think that, like you were just saying before, it's going to turn into agility and pretty much every other skill pretty soon too if they keep it up.
What are the
Yeah, I
rates
agree.
for the stars right now? Like, isn't it like 32K an hour, like full AFK?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
so it's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to. So in two questions, we'll be talking more so about the XP rates, but yeah, it's like up to 32K an hour at higher mining levels with good pickaxes, is what the blog post said.
That's like the XP rates for MLM when it first came out, if I remember correctly. When I was doing it, it was like 30K an hour or something, like low level, but like pre 99.
You've also got the bonus XP as well from the Stardust.
Yeah.
Because those people aren't going to use it other places if they're AFKing there the whole time.
That's true, yeah. But I mean, they're just gonna send it on gem bags and then just money in the game, or it's crafting XP for a night. Or...
Yeah, it's just a whole like long list of like this is AFK now, this is more AFK. And I mean, it's just
It's bad.
Yeah, wasn't there there's a picture on Twitter? I think I think it was Dead Wilson. It might not be though, but he was doing star mining on like alts for like a week or two or something, and he had like 200 mil worth of gems from turning into Stardust. Like, I don't know how many alts though, if it was like 2, 3, 5, whatever, but that's still a lot of fucking gems, especially if you think about it for an iron if they AFK it for like a month.
yeah, and that's such little intensity too, which like I think a lot of people need to understand is the main problem here. I mean, the XP rates themselves is a whole other topic, but like the amount of intensity that it takes to just keep up that XP rate, I think is ridiculous too. I mean, RuneLight 25-minute AFK timer is a whole other topic too in itself. But like, yeah, I mean, the AFKing is just crazy anymore, man. I don't understand why they don't want more people playing the game.
I don't think that their goal is an interactive quality game at this point anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think you made a good point talking about the day alt, because like you don't really get a chance to realize the quality, like, or I shouldn't say quality AFK time, but like for day alt, like you don't really get to see the benefit of having AFK'd that until you're actually playing the game and actually rune crafting. Whereas, I mean, there's a little bit of that in how it applies to the shooting stars, but I mean, if the XP rates were significantly lower on the stars, and yeah, like you don't realize the actual XP from that until you're actually playing the game, I think that would be like one step that they could move in a positive direction for the shooting stars. But
There's also a big difference though too, and this might just be me, a personal, like a biased opinion, but there's a huge difference from a 1-minute AFK with like day alt versus like a 5, maybe 7-minute AFK with stars, and like a 20-25 minute AFK in like zone. Like if I'm at work, I can't do the whole star mining and check my phone every 5 minutes. That's why I love zone, is because I could pull up my phone, pull up Chrome remote desktop, look at my account, fucking strange device or rock cake down, resip, absorption, repot, close my phone, boom, 20 minutes later I'll check my phone again. Versus every like minute or every 5 minutes. Like even redwoods, I know a lot of people do like redwoods or like AFK barb at work. I can't do that. I hate checking my phone and having like that feeling of like, oh, I have to like, oh, it's been like 5 minutes, I gotta recheck my phone. That might just be a me thing, but
I think with like barbarian fishing, with how AFK that is, that's probably okay. And I mean, I guess that could extend to redwoods as well. Although redwoods are certainly much more on the like
they're pretty cracked.
Yeah, they're much more on the turbo AFK side. Whereas like I feel like 5-tick barb fishing, that's a minute of AFK. I feel like that is probably acceptable, but yeah, being able to completely engulf yourself into another game or anything like that, I feel like kind of really is a statement as to how bad in AFK because it's just not quality content. I don't, it doesn't matter if a lot of people are engaging in it. That doesn't mean that it's good. Like if they came out with a new money making method that was 30 mil an hour and fully AFK, like that doesn't make it good because every single person in the game starts doing it. It's disappointing to see the progression as to how they went from like the Duke 6-hour botting to buffing shooting stars for no reason. And, I just think that they're how you talk about there being casuals, like on Reddit. I don't think that that's the issue. I think the issue is solely on the development team. They got like 70 people in the staff there. There's not enough people. There's too many people giving too many shit ideas, and at a certain point, you can't shoot down every shit idea, especially when these are supposed to be like your colleagues that you work with, and so like too many people not having a clear direction for the game, and almost none of them, which there's a few of them that are good, but
like Elves, El rework, Toro rework.
Well, I mean, there's just so many of them that haven't really played the game, and they just come up with these ideas, and then it comes because you don't want to tell your colleague for the 20th. Well, like I mean, at a certain point, you can't tell everyone no all the time, even though that's arguably would be for the benefit of the quality of the game, but I don't know.
My only hope is like that this change will just keep them happy, and then they just don't touch any of the other mining stuff.
Well,
which I guess sort of leads into the next question. But
like there's a section in that post where they talk about the changes for shooting stars, saying that they may look at small changes to other content like Zalcano, Volcanic Mine, Blast Mine, Motherlode Mine, and Amethyst.
Don't touch the volcano, please.
Do you think? Well, here's the thing: if they're touching anything, it's to fucking increase the XP in the AFK aspect of it, not.
Yeah, legit.
No fucking shot. They're balancing it out well, but
there ain't no way none of those XP rates are going down for sure.
Do you think like out of all those methods there, with Zalcano, Volcanic Mine, Blast Mine, Motherlode Mine, and Amethyst, do you think any of these methods need any tweaks done to them? And if so, what would you like to see them do?
I legit actually had a nightmare about this about 2 days ago. No shot. Where I had a dream where like Volcanic Mine, they got rid of like the whole checking chambers stuff, and you could just like click the rock, and they even replaced the rock with a tree. No kidding. And I woke up freaking out, like I need to write a letter. Like who do I send this to? Like in Jagex. But no, hopefully they just don't touch any of it. Like it just does not need changing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Blast Mine, maybe they could like add some GP an hour to it. I don't know, but the rest is fine.
That still costs a little bit of money, right?
Probably. I don't know. I just know it's like the only option there that no one like really does.
Yeah.
But like everything else is balanced. Mining, you got so many options. Like it doesn't matter how much you want to like AFK or go hard. Like there's an option for you. Just like seems like it's in a good spot.
What do you think, Drag?
Oh, my apologies. It was me up. No, actually, on the everything mining wise, I'm gonna leave Zalcano for last, but Volcanic Mine, I just think is way too AFK to begin with for the XP. I think you're gonna see a big trend with me on this. I like Volcanic Mine. I think it's great, but it's too rewarding. I like seeing community things where people come together and play the game, but I mean, let's be real. Everybody just goes there to AFK pretty much. For the XP rates is crazy. Blast Mine, on the other hand, I actually did quite a bit of Blast Mine. I'm a huge fan of this method because, one, I think it's very overlooked by a lot of people, and two, it's a very, very good balance between being like click intensive and, people argue that it needs to be rewarding, but, it's nothing that kills your wrists or anything like that. I thought it was quite enjoyable. I kind of wish more people would give that a shot, and then they would probably see that some of these other mining methods don't need to be updated because some of the stuff we have in game is actually really good. Motherlode Mine, I see the appeal. I obviously am just going to say the XP rates a little bit, but I'm just very biased when I think people should more be playing the game. I think AFK should be in the game, like that. But kind of the same thing with Amethyst. I guess it's okay. It's a little high XP rates for me, but again, I don't think it's game breaking by any means. And then Zalcano, the last thing I was going to say, Zalcano actually, I don't know, Capt King, maybe you can tell me, like, I don't remember the exact, like, XP rates for, like, mining and, like, smithing, I think, and rune crafting are the main
I don't
things.
even pay attention how much XP I get since I'm like 200 mil off. So I mean, I just do it just for the pet, and I get the fuck out.
Oh yeah, true. I kind of didn't even think of that for a second. Anyway, yeah, but from the bit of Zalcano I've done, I thought it was pretty fun for getting together with people that you maybe don't play the game as much. Again, I'm trying more to not think of just being this biased person in this group of people here and understand more where the lower level community might come from too. But I do draw the line at certain spots too. I think Volcano is fine personally as it is. I just think people are kind of babies anymore about a lot of things. If it's not high XP rates and high rewards, they don't want to do it. So, but again, last thing to conclude, all I'm going to say about that is it's just a shame people don't give more content a chance, because some of it is actually fun.
Yeah, I think I want to touch on it. It's like Volcano Mine for us, like it's AFK, but too I fucking want to Reddit babies, Reddit to the idiot kids. They don't think Volcano Mine's AFK. I think I lived my life there for like 8 fucking months. To me, that shit was not difficult. None of that shit's really difficult. So no, I would not change like anything.
I would hope they change the drop rate of the freaking crystal seed from Volcano. I'm like 1400 KC and I don't have a freaking tool seed. And I don't know who you guys do Volcano with. I don't know who you guys do Zalcano with, but I don't think I've seen one person at Zalcano that speaks a lick of English. So,
those are the boys, bro. What do you mean?
So I've had like 6 tool seeds sniped by some guy that says ja 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 at the end and then runs away and is graceful. That's uncolored. I don't know. But Volcanic Mine like is very VM is I think a bit overpowered as well. I did all my mining for a good like 90% of the 30 mil at granite, and I just love that method. Same thing with like shins. Like I just love the tick manipulation methods. But VM is nice for AFK for certain people. I get that. Blast mining, I haven't really done a lot of it, but I feel like if they were to do any type of rework or rebalance, I would like blast mining. Maybe I haven't done a lot of it anyways, so can't really say if it's overpowered or if it's balanced or not. But if you're saying it's balanced, drag, then I guess, or Byro, whoever was talking about the blast mining being balanced.
I really think it is, because you also get like dailies from that, which is something that I don't agree with a lot of some of the stuff they bring in the game, but like I thought it was decent to have a daily dynamite stash, because again it incentivizes you to actually do blast mining. But yeah, I truly do believe that it is very well balanced for what it is.
I'm just looking
Which
at
scenario?
Go ahead.
So which scenario would you do blast mine over VM though, Jax?
Well, okay, so I used to play an Iron Man too. Like I kind of more so recently started playing my main. So like now I do 3-tick 4G and stuff like that. But like this was, me just more so enjoying the content that I had in my Iron Man at the time. Because again, I was accumulating that stuff over time from raids and on my Iron Man, I played a little different. I wasn't like doing 3-tick 4G on there, although I still enjoy the methods, but I definitely expanded my horizons on playing the game when I was playing my Iron Man.
So looking at like a 200 mil perspective as an iron, I feel VM currently is like one of the best things because you take all the points and you buy like Addy ore or Myth ore with all of your VM points, and that basically banks you like a chunk of like 200 mil smithing, if not all of it. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what I would have liked to see from Blast Mine, is like having that be the option. So like remove the rewards or the ores that you can buy from VM and get more ores from Blast Mine, so that way it's more balanced in the terms of like 200 mil all.
Actually, yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
And Amethyst, I feel like it's just slow in general. I did like a week of it for like 40k Amethyst arrows. I feel like it's pretty pretty bad, pretty low.
Yeah, so
Can I ask really quick? Oh, sorry, my bad, Randy.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what do you guys think though, like about the AFK? As far like, do you guys think that the amount of AFK time that you have for something like Amethyst is good for the current game now, or do you think it's more so like? I mean, I kind of think I know the answer from most people, but like, I guess I'm asking more or less AFK is better to y'all in the sense because I just think some of this isn't bad. It's just too AFK. You feel me?
I don't know if Amethyst is too AFK or if it's bad. Like, I think Amethyst is probably pretty balanced, you know, if you factor in how, you know, essentially terrible XP it is. Like, it gives a little bit of money. So I think, you know, that's pretty, like a pretty good, like, substitution for the XP that you could potentially otherwise get. But I think Amethyst is fine.
I think the AFK time on Amethyst is so like far stretched. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like you can hit Amethyst and get an ore within 10 seconds or be sitting there for like a minute and a half.
Like Motherlode Mine is also like kind of like fake AFK as well. Like, it is not as AFK as people think that it is. Being like,
Yeah, you still have to keep watching your screen because you never know when you're gonna go idle.
Yeah, I think the consistency at which something is AFK certainly adds a little bit to it. Like with fishing, for example, like, you know, you're good for a minute. Like, if you're doing barb and you go AFK, like, you know when you need to be back, and you know that could then apply like to mobile, for example. Like, you know when you need to like reopen the app or look back at your phone. But with there being no consistency for Amethyst and Motherlode Mine, you could spend a lot of time not even mining, and that already lowers the already low XP per hour that you get from it. But I think that those ones are fairly balanced. So in regards to the changes that they would look at, certainly I don't think that they need to increase the XP per hour or the AFK-ness of any of the different methods that they have on here. So Zalcano, I gotta say, I've not actually engaged in myself, so I don't feel like I should provide any ignorant feedback on that. Volcanic Mine, I actually think, is too AFK for what it is, and I'll give some examples of that. But that's primarily.
Idiots. They don't think it's AFK, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was able to walk my dog. Like, I could walk my dog and like do B check, or, you know, now obviously it is a little bit role specific, but like, I've had times where I've done a roll, had to fix the vents, and like I did a lot of playing like on Chrome Remote Desktop or my phone for Volcanic Mine, and like with a good team, like it might have been my favorite content that I played throughout the entirety of like all the skills that I did to 200 mil. But like it's busted as fuck. Like I should not be able to get almost 100k XP per hour while walking my fucking dog. That I just don't think that's yeah, I just don't think that that's reasonable. And you know, they've so because of that, yeah, I think that Volcanic Mine is still too AFK for what it is. You shouldn't be able to get 100k or 95k an hour while not even at your computer walking your dog or anything like that. And you know, I'd have stretches where I would go like more than a half hour just playing on Chrome Remote Desktop, and you know, not missing a beat at all, regardless of the role that I was. I'll say this: the BC role was kind of difficult to do on mobile or Chrome Remote Desktop, but A, B, or C fix, easy, leech, easy. So yeah, I don't think that they should touch that.
Was that 90k an hour before they added like the crystal pickaxe or whatever it was?
I think people were getting like 87 or so before then, but like the crystal stuff kind of boosted it to like the 95-ish.
Yeah, I remember because Dumbfounded like got on my team or whatnot. He added me, and like that's when the crystal pick came out. And he asked me if I was gonna go for it. I was like, "Fuck no, I'm almost done."
Yeah, I think that if they're gonna tweak, I think one thing that they might look at for Volcanic Mine would be tweaking it to where someone could play by that, like more easily play by themselves rather than relying on a team, which I would really hate if they did that because that's one of the things that makes Volcanic Mine really cool is the team, it being a team-based activity, and whenever they unfortunately come out with sailing, I hope that they've talked about there being a method where you can go with NPCs that you can have in place of players. But like, I think that having content with other players makes it more fun. And so I hope that they don't adjust Volcanic Mine in that way. But that's one tweak that I think I could see them do to it.
VM would be fun if I could get a team. Thanks, Daisy.
You gotta take some blame yourself on that, but with Blast Mine, with Blast Mine, I think like if that was a little bit more rewarding from a financial standpoint or from a item standpoint for how that would impact an iron, I think that would be okay. Because I mean, there's not necessarily a method where it's like, if you're a main, you do this method. If you're an iron, you do this method. It's kind of blended together. Motherlode Mine I think is fine. Again, it's kind of like fake AFK, and like you can make a pretty decent amount of money per hour while doing that. And I mean, I got no problems with that or Amethyst. I think that those are fine. So really, I mean, if anything, what I would most see them do is just honestly change Volcanic Mine to where it's easier for one person to do a solo. That'd be the only thing I think that they would actually do.
Randy, weren't you a mod or like a staff or something like that in the VM Discord at one point?
No, they were not looking to hire the most qualified people for the job.
Gotcha. They were biased.
Weren't you muted for like quite a while as well, Randy?
They were not interested in having people bring the best out of their teammates.
I love these PR.
I see.
Someone's been speaking to HR. You got to direct me to wherever you go to learn this lingo, because I know for a fact in the rules when you apply to the Discord, they're like, one of the questions is like, what do you do if you're a team of 5 and someone's looking to join a team? What do? You're supposed to split 2 teams of 3 or whatever. Well, I guess for some people that are staff or mods in that Discord don't abide by the rules because they don't have to, and they don't enforce them on themselves or others unless like they're like the other staff. So when I call out a staff or a mod and tell them to do their job as a mod and enforce the rules, I get kicked for harassment.
Yeah.
I didn't do the harassment part until after I got kicked.
Yeah, I did
Bullshit.
Oh, shit. I mean, that being able to have plausible deniability is certainly one of the elements that they're able to utilize in regards to if people are looking for a team and being ignorant to that. But I don't think that there'll be changes made to Zalcano, Motherlode, or Amethyst. But I mean, like it's unfortunate. Like I feel like mining was an incredibly well balanced skill if you looked at all the different options that were available to people to be able to engage in with the, with Granite, the 3-tick 4G, with Volcanic Mine being team based, really AFK, with Motherlode Mine being, pretty decent XP per hour, makes money, and then Amethyst as well being the most AFK. I've talked to people who had like 30-40 mil mining XP and they did it all through Amethyst, and I was like, God damn, you know how many times you could have gotten 200 mil mining in that amount of time already?
For real.
But it's I feel like mining if shooting stars were just reverted back to what it was before all these changes. I felt like mining's honestly in a really good spot, but idiots don't feel that way, so that's why we are where we are.
I think a lot of people just aren't gonna ever be happy with anything, which like you could kind of argue in a sense, which is what we would be saying in a weird way too. But like, you know, it's like these people that are casually playing, if you want to label them like that, is like they just want anything, and it's just always gonna not be good enough in my eyes. I've noticed that since like the inception of Old School, basically. They can't enjoy what we have because, like, a great point, like you said, man, is just we have some great things. Like mining, in my eyes, is still a pretty good skill, you know, as far as prestige goes. But like shooting stars is not pushing that in a good direction.
Mining is probably the only skill that's left that's like decent. Well, apart from VM, but because they just butchered woodcutting.
We'll talk about that coming up here next. But yeah, so I haven't engaged in any of the forestry stuff, so I'm not as up to date as you guys would be. But to many people's disappointment, Forestry Part 2 released this week. You know, talk a little bit more about like how forestry is trading the rewards from it as well, when you guys are talking about it. But prior to getting to the release, let's talk about the pre-release portion of it. What were your initial thoughts when they revealed forestry at the Winter Summit last year in December? Did it strike you as something that was needed or wanted, and something you were looking for, or did this kind of seem ridiculous, or somewhere in between? What were your thoughts on forestry before the development process started, based on their initial pitch?
I kind of couldn't believe it took off as much as it did. I think this point has been brought up before, but I just want to say it again. Why something from a game jam project that, like, I mean, I don't really think we got a ton of info on it as much as it should be for the size of what it is in game now. Just all around very surprised it was as significant to them and on the game as it is now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of surprising me they want to try to update woodcutting. Like woodcutting nothing was wrong with woodcutting at all. It was fine. It was AFK. People wanted to do that, or people want to do one, like, you know, tick teaks or whatever. It was fine. I don't know. It's just crazy how they wanted to add something like this.
Yeah, again, like I feel like woodcutting probably was in a better spot even than mining was, and like, you know, I can see that. I mean, most people that train their woodcutting are doing it AFK from 90 to 99 at Redwoods, not complaining a damn about the XP or about the AFK-ness of it. And, you know, for people that are really trying to get more out of woodcutting, yeah, you've got 2-tick teaks, you've got the 1.5-tick teaks, you've got, I mean, there's just a number of different methods that you could be able to engage in for woodcutting, and I honestly heard no one complaining about the skill. To be fair, like, people have complained about mining. Now, I think that mining is still fine, but like even less people were complaining about woodcutting as a skill. So I don't see it.
Where they even got that idea from, anyways.
Well, yeah, my initial thoughts, like when I saw that, like when they had that initial pitch and they had there was some mod that had like this beard, as he was talking about it, I got the feel that was that okay. Now, if I might be wrong, but based on the pitch for it, I thought this motherfucker has never woodcutted worth a damn in his life. And like that was the feel that I got from the initial pitch for it. And it certainly didn't feel like it was needed at all. Like woodcutting has always been a relaxing skill with multiple different methods for training it, and one that most people didn't complain about. Like, it is one of the more favorable skills on surveys that they've had in the past, like if you exclude combat. So yeah, it didn't seem like it had potential to be good in the December one, and yeah, it made me think, oof.
I could be wrong about this when I say this, but I'm fairly certain I'm not trying to say this in a negative light necessarily either when I say it like this. I do have a more of a point when I say this, but I think a nanny had a big part of pushing this too from the Game Jam project, which the only reason I say that is I think content creators...
A what?
What's that?
Who's the person?
Hanani. Yeah, it's like a YouTuber. I don't know, somebody that's used to be popular on Twitch. I don't really watch them too much. I just, like, they were in, like, the Gillinor games and all that stuff that Soup does. I don't know if any of you guys watch that stuff, but anyway, I think that they were pretty much a big push for that. But my whole point in bringing that up was I think it's a shame that people with larger communities aren't a little more mindful of how they can be impactful for the game. Because first,
real quick, the only thing that matters to content, or I shouldn't say that, because we've had some quality content create, like for content creators, they need and want content because that's what they need to push for new views, for money that they can make from that, new content. So no, these people that have these communities for like these content creators, for the most part, are never going to vote no to something because that's just new content for them to engage in, to get newer audiences, to keep their audiences with a lower attention span engaged in something new. And like it is incredibly rare to see like content creators to where that is their job not be in favor of content.
Yeah. I mean, you see people even like Bodhi or like even like higher level people that just kind of don't care anymore, man. I mean, it's kind of hard to care anymore. Like I ain't even throwing shade at the dude because I love him, but like I heard Huba on the last cast, he was just kind of hopeless and just waiting to get through it. At this point, it feels like, man, I love you, bro, but and I say that because I understand that feeling, though, man. And that's a shame that a lot of people get that way, you know.
I feel like Foe is one of those good examples. I used to like him as a guy and as a person and his streams, and now it's more of like he's just got that like personality trait where he's just got that personality trait of where it's like he thinks his opinion is always the right one. Like not cockiness, but I don't know, like sailing or whatever. There was a video of him talking about sailing or something or some update that's like really dumb, and he's like, oh, this is great for the game, blah blah blah, X, Y, and Z, and it's like he votes yes for it, and he probably doesn't even really care about the update. It's just more content for him to stream. Like,
I think they need to come up with better streaming techniques, son.
Kind of what I sort of felt from it, like when like I heard it at the summit, it really did feel like, all right, Game Jam, I need to think of an idea. And he's like, all right, here's an idea. And then, like, just wanted that vision to go through regardless of, like, what it actually meant for the game or feedback. I was in Hebox's stream, and Hebox was saying, like, he got to, like, talk, like, directly with the mods and stuff and give feedback. And he just felt like the feedback was just not going through, like just Squid sort of just heard other opinions, but like his own opinion and vision of Forestry was like the only vision was acceptable.
The Gen X doesn't listen to their most dedicated and like most loyal player base. They appease to the they don't appease to the minority, they appease to the majority, which is the Reddit users.
Yeah,
well, like in this case, I felt more like he was just like appeasing his own vision of what Forestry should be. You know, like it's his child, and like it should just be what he wants it to be.
I could see Forestry being a good update, but like there's nothing wrong with woodcutting, like at all. It's super AFK as is. Like Redwoods is like 75k an hour at 99 or whatever, and you know, even if you don't have Redwoods unlocked at 90, you can do Solaset mushrooms or whatever the case is. Yeah, like even nowadays, the way I did it when I was 87, it sounds dumb, but when I was 87 woodcutting, I would use the special attack with the dragon axe, put on preserve, and I could sit at Redwoods at 87 or 88 woodcutting for like 4.5 minutes or something like that, or 4 minutes. Some weird. That's what I did from 87 to 90. So, because I hated mushrooms, but I don't see a problem with woodcutting. I don't know why it needed a change. Like, I just feel like they could have used that dev time for something else.
Well,
I feel like the tree timer thing wasn't too bad. It was just everything else that came with it. Like, they could just add the tree timer thing, make it more sort of social friendly. Maybe give us like a few rewards, like here's a log basket thing if you do a little bit of mini game or whatever, and then just call it a day. But the fact that like you have to train like this way, or like casuals I feel that way, it's just really has degraded the skill to that.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to there's too many developers coming up with too many like they're always trying to come out with something new, and when you have this many different developers, you're going to inevitably get good ideas and good development. Desert Treasure 2. And they have a lot of other quality, but with so many different developers, you're going to have so many different ideas. Some of them are going to be shit, and there's not...
going to be shit, but yeah, keep going.
there's just not a strong enough filter, like a strong enough shit filter that they have. And I mean, I get it from a human and coworker standpoint, but yeah, I don't.
Well, here's an idea. How about they get rid of half of the old school team?
There's no chance they would do that.
The salary of that half and give it to the other half, so that way they're making more than $13.65 an hour.
I think,
or whatever their $28,000 a year salary is.
I mean, I feel like if they should do anything with money, it should be increasing the
support.
Yeah, the support. I don't think
How much is Jagex valued at? 500 million, or they're trying to sell for 500 million?
No, it was purchased at 500 mil. They're trying to flip it for like $1 billion.
Yeah.
And they still don't have a support fucking team or any type of like actual support that's not bots or
Twitter.com/Jagex support.
Windows tech support, fucking car extended warranty customer base employees.
Yeah, like that's
answering you on Twitter with generic responses that are auto typed.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that's more of the response. I don't necessarily think that they should cut the amount of employees that are working on the game, but like there's not one strong vision as to where the game wants to go in. And now that Ash is the product manager, that's one of the things that we had talked about like in previous podcasts. Like he has no opinion on the game or the direction of it. He is just of the mindset. Like when he was the developer for the game, and we can even go back, whether it even be 10 years ago when it was just Ash, Matt K, and Reach, whereas like Ash is he was like, all right, my assignment is to develop this. I will develop this as well as I can, and then move on to the next thing that I am told that I need to do. He never at any point in time expressed much of an opinion or really any kind of direction that he wanted the game to go in. It was just, here's what I'm assigned to do and I'm going to do it. And with him now like being the product manager, like there's not a vision for where the game wants to go into, and it's just having 72 different people on the team, at least 72, just giving their opinion of where they think it should go in, and there's just not enough of a filter, really. But moving on, though, got this from Faye Poppy is, what are your thoughts on Forestry now that Part 2 is out? In particular, the events of which only 2 of the 9 events actually involve any woodcutting, with the leprechauns and the roots, and 1 just literally involves standing on a circle for 15 seconds a few times. So what do you think about how you're training with Forestry?
So first off, who is the Faye Poppy guy? He keeps DMing me saying that he's a big fan, that I'm a beast, and that I inspired him to skill. I don't know the guy.
He's in the Discord.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, you're memeing, surely not.
I did a little bit of the Forestry yesterday or the day before when it came out. The events are a bit odd. I feel like there's a lot of events too, and they don't last very long at all. I don't know if that's because in the World 510, like the Mass World or the CC and whatnot, more people make it despawn faster or not, but they last for like a minute. So if you finish one event in one place and they call out another event at another location, by the time you get there, you have like 30 seconds to 45 seconds of doing the actual activity before it's done with. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if it's by quantity of players at the activity that make it despawn faster or not. But it's definitely weird because it's a woodcutting event and there's like no woodcutting involved. It's just like passing an egg back and forth. There's hunter involved now. Like it's the XP per hour is like very shit. It's like 45k to 55k an hour. I think I was getting doing these events. So it's like very little woodcutting XP for a bit more effort than if you were to AFK redwoods. And it's not like woodcutting related. It's like a lot of multi-skilling with like hunter thieving, and it's very minute and very minuscule XP. Right? But say again.
Seems like it was like a waste then.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know.
I haven't even done Forestry, so I don't really know. I know my CC does it. Some of them are doing it for the outfit and all this shit, but I don't really know too much about it. I know everyone's complaining and saying it's shit, so I'm gonna agree with that.
Fair. Yeah, I've done a bit of it, like mostly part 1 compared to the log.
Can you talk about part 1 a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the method I was utilizing, just because I was going for the log, it's basically you're just hopping to different locations when events get called or you scout them. And you just do an event and then get the bark, get the rewards. Because fortunately, part 1 was just that. Like, there wasn't all the other garbage. And it's just come out. And yeah, I kind of enjoyed, like, doing the events in a way. I know, like, Hitbox Strong has, like, said the same thing. Maybe JCW. Like, doing the events themselves was kind of fun, trying to, like, min-max it. Like, with your just movement and stuff. But, like, it's not woodcutting, and it should not be how you train woodcutting. Like, as a little mini game, just for, like, a little woodcutting sort of untradeable reward, it'd be fine. But the fact that it's become the identity of woodcutting is like the major issue. With the Forestry part 2, it's just cracked. I don't know if bonfires was anything that anyone ever asked for. And then the two-handed axe is just they're just passing.
More on the axe.
Oh, okay, next. Sorry, yeah. All right, yeah. Well, it's just not needed. So I'm glad the T's at least were picked up as like, everyone agreed that was just not good for the game. But yeah.
I'd agree as well. I don't really like how, like everybody else has kind of said, it's just not really woodcutting, man. I mean, if you're doing these little outside events, here, let me say what I was going to say besides this point real quick. Like, my main gripe with this whole thing, though, is like some of the rewards I think are ridiculous, and like some of the like outcomes of some of these things I don't even think people really consider. Like with Forestry Part 2, they came out with like these gloves that you can get eggs now, which this is partly going on why I stopped playing my Iron Man. I understand things are going to get devalued, don't get me wrong, but like, I mean, you go from some of these things that are placed in game, because I personally really like going for stuff that is pretty much, not really achievable for the average person, or really not, the most appealing thing for somebody, but it's just a real shame to see like something like all these eggs coming into the game now, because I don't know if you guys have any statistics, but a friend of mine I was speaking with earlier was saying like you can pull 100 eggs a day. I mean, if you're playing, which we all can agree, Forestry's not really that intensive. But you can
from the gloves though, because I heard that too, and I don't know anything about it, but if you can elaborate on it.
Yeah, the gloves, sorry, I can't really elaborate too much myself because I wasn't actually doing it. I was just talking to him about it earlier before the cast. But yeah, man, he's basically been getting 100 eggs per day, doing everything in a sense but woodcutting, and then just spawning into these events, which I'm sure those rates of eggs are a bit, high now for what they are. But, one more thing I like to bring up is the bonfires too. I mean, how much stuff are we getting as a result of Forestry? That's just like, I don't understand why the chicken outfit is so common in a sense now. I mean, you just buff something that was like so much of an achievement to, at least in my eyes, for something like an Ironman to nothing.
It was probably like 1,000 hours, or I don't know the rough number, but it probably went from like 1,000 hours to like 100 hours or less.
Just years of doing back-to-back birdhouse runs.
Yeah.
And like, see, the birdhouse runs though, because again, I understand people want to complete stuff, but like the birdhouse runs, it's like, dude, if you just keep on top of those, you'll complete it eventually. But like, it's rare as shit for a reason. It's not supposed to be everybody gets everything. Like, bro, if I could reminisce really quick on something, Randy, ages ago, like way back in the day, like before I even played the game like I do now, you liked a tweet of mine. I remember very specifically. I said, I don't understand why everybody feels the need that they need to have everything in game now, because like then if everybody's running around with the same shit, it's not impressive. I mean, I know that's pretty easy and simple to say, but like, damn, man, you're like.
I think part of it's just a lot of entitlement to like end game things or stats and everything. Like it is not like, this game is a grind. It's not supposed to be. And I mean, like, it's so different from so many other games that are out there. And as today, it's been now 2 years anniversary since I got 200 mil all. And as I've played some games, like over the last 2 years, you know, like most of these games are, you know, well, it's specifically because I've been choosing them, but like most of the games have just been like games that you play through one time with like no replayability, and like you have an expectation that you're going to unlock every single bit of content in the game. You'll get all the gear that you can possibly get, and you know, because these games are like 30-hour games, it's like that's the amount of time it takes to level a certain, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like that could be one fucking level for a certain skill. So yeah, I mean, I think that it's just people feeling entitled to XP and time that they're not willing to put in.
See, this is going to be an unbiased opinion probably, and this is a little bit off topic, but I would love to see blue scroll boxes or whatever they are in game, and base it off. You don't have to have like, you can't like stacking clues, and not like being able to stack 100, you know, hard caskets or elites. I mean, like, base it off as like combat achievements, where if you have like the elites done, you can stack up to 5 hard clues, 3 elites, and then if you have the masters, it's 8 and 5. If you have the grandmasters, it's 10 and 8. Whatever the case is, like, have a cap to a degree where you're not being able to stack 100 clues to do them all in 1 or 2 days. But that would be nice to see, just for the sole purpose of like collection log, or like trying to get third age or whatever the case is. Because I hate leaving a task during Slayer to do a clue. So what I do now is I juggle the clues on the ground, which is probably even more aids, but I'll leave like a Necreal or a Smoke Devil task with like 5 hard clues on the ground. And because I want to get third age, at least just hit the roll once on the account. I do them. But I would like to see like stackable clues in the future. Not re-rolling the clues though, like RS3. But I feel like they'll come out with something like that too, because the collection log is like 65,000 hours of clue scrolls. And if they re-roll it, you're cutting it off by 1/3 or 2/3. It's still 30,000 something hours doing clues to complete the collection log, you know, for somebody to actually fully complete the log. I don't know, I just felt like I had to say something like that with the way the question was being answered.
I could kind of get around the clues. I know I'm somebody that was very against that update. I understand that. I think we probably wouldn't agree so much on the numbers. Like, for me, like, GM would probably be stacking like 5 at the most. Again, but that's kind of irrelevant. But no, I could get behind an idea like that. And see, I think some of these ideas, if they're implemented right, they're not bad for the game. It's just, you know, if you start, and I worry with this team with a lot of updates, if you put something like that in, what does that excel? Now, what else needs to come from that, you know? And that's why I don't think anybody at this team is capable of like really updating anything right now. You know, they need to get their heads on straight before this game progresses anymore. It's just going to become even more of a shit show.
I'd be okay with like a year of no content and they just like go back and like fix certain things.
Man, I feel like it would be longer than a year at this point. But yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
The
Like, when are we getting the
owners
7th
would
block per
never.
Slayer? That passed the poll like 3 weeks ago. I'm waiting for my 7th block.
They're too busy making Perilous Moons devlog, Fortis Coliseum devlog, posting about the Jagex accounts, the Jagex launcher, and adding in the Halloween event, making a developer blog for the Shooting Stars, the Forestry Part 2, and talking about other stuff for Varlamore and the Hunter Guild. So they're a little too busy to spend a lunch break adding that in.
The Jagex launcher isn't a question on the podcast today, is it?
No, we are. There's so much going. Like part of what I said like in the beginning, there's way too much going on that like I feel like this, like if we were to have dedicated like time to actually talking on each update and thing that's going on right now, like this podcast would probably blast like a 6-hour mark. It's just I feel like the next podcast, all the topics that I even need for it are already like, I hope nothing comes out in the next 2 weeks. Cause I don't know how, I feel like having the podcast every 2 weeks, for like 2-3 hours is already like trying to keep up with the game.
24-hour podcast.
Oh dude, like it might be needed at some point, but yeah, I mean, let's like move on though, as we're still like an hour in and are not close to finishing this. We'll hit like real quick here on the another one from Fey Poppy is the two-handed axes were an absolute shit show, but seemed to make one. So to their credit, like it makes 1.5 tick teaks more intense, but every other method in the history of woodcutting just gets a straight up buff. What do you think about the two-handed axes? And if you could change how the axe works, what would you do?
So I kind of disagree because I don't think it makes it that more intense. So the two-handed, I'm pretty sure has a 20% chance of destroying the log, which I mean compared to the infernal axe, which I think has a 33% chance. I guess it's slightly more intense, but like it's not that significant. I mean, according to Enjoys, it's like the same, but I mean, Enjoys is a bit demon, so I don't know. It really does seem like buffed raids, but there's no trade-off. Like, you don't even have to do the mini game; you can just buy the handle, tradable. So it's just here is buffed rates, and there's no downside, and that's all it is. So, ideally there'd be some trade-off, some charges, or even if we had to put in the effort of doing the mini game, like at least it'd make more sense than just here's a free buff, enjoy, which no one asked for. But yeah, ideally it'd be reverted, in my opinion.
I don't know because I've never used it.
Yeah, now is kind of the time. Like if they're gonna make any changes to it, now it's kind of the time, because kind of fall into that situation where they're gonna be like, yeah, it's been in the game, we don't feel like changing it, which has been a trend that they have had in the past. So
Yeah, that's actually a great point. I was going to say that myself. I hope it doesn't come to that either. And I hope something gets changed. But I don't have too much to say on the two-handed axe. I haven't done it yet myself. I just want to kind of comment and agree with everybody else when they say I just think it's a shame that the XP rates kind of went up around the board for seemingly no reason. Again, just kind of goes back to the whole, it just doesn't seem like they put any thought really into anything. And I hope more casuals or more whoever sees or hears this just kind of puts that more into their thoughts,
Yeah, I agree. I was going to have this as a topic, but, purposes of time. But still want to give a shout out. Our boy Enjoy is blasted the 6-hour record for woodcutting. He got over 1.55 mil XP. The previous record was still pretty good, like with a pretty impressive 1.36. But, the method for the Teaks is exactly the same. It's just a fat buff of like 15 to 20% XP for absolutely no reason. Doesn't change anything on how the skill is actually trained. It's just, here's more XP for doing the exact same thing that you were doing in the first place. Huge shout out to Enjoys. Go get that week record in a month. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I saw talking about Forestry was with people having feedback that said that they didn't like it, and this is a common Reddit view to have is what. And so my question is, what do you think about the argument of if you don't like the whether it be the item or the update or the method, you can just literally not do them, and it's not like anything has changed in regards to a shit update?
I mean, the idea of like if you don't like it, don't do it. It doesn't affect you. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, and I think you could certainly apply it to like certain scenarios. Like if you don't like LMS, don't do it or whatever. But when it's something that does, like, it literally does impact us. Like, that's the thing. Like, bonfires, it impacts us. The axe, it clearly does impact us. Like, it's not even an accurate saying. In fact, if anything, it impacts us more than them because, hey, when they quit, we're still playing. So, we're stuck with their choices.
They're not training after 99.
Yeah. They literally have to do it for like 20 hours and we're stuck doing it for 1,000. It's a non-argument because it's just not true. So, yeah.
Greg?
Oh, my bad. Kind of just want to agree with everybody else. I'm kind of trying to not repeat myself too much, but I kind of agree with what most people are saying on the topic.
Yeah, I would agree too. I mean, that's just kids that's just gonna get the 99 and stop playing basically, or don't even do it again. So like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, from my anecdotal experience, I have very rarely ever seen someone with that kind of mentality ever have any interest in doing post 99 stuff or, like putting meaningful time into the game. It has really been like kind of like a flavor of the month gamer that has that opinion. Like, for anyone who has ever had that opinion in regards to an update, please play RS3 or any other game besides Old School RuneScape.
Yeah, I would agree. I've always said that all these kids need to go play RuneScape 3 or just don't play RuneScape at all.
I feel like when you talk about like if you don't like the update, you don't have to do it. I feel like that's like a double-edged sword because if it's something like game breaking, then it's like it puts you behind the curve, And I guess maybe this is an example, maybe it's not, but the thing that comes to mind is like Capt King, like you were top page for you held a top page rank probably the
7 times
over
back
anybody.
years still.
And with ZMI or like runners, things like that, when things are changed in the game for those XP rates, and it's more viable to some people who either can play more, have more wealth, whatever the case is, and it creates that like gap for the rings. Like you didn't do ZMI or any runners for your runecraft, and you did Guardians of the Rift, if I'm correct. Versus other people,
like 120. I think it was like 122 mil all the way to 200. I did Guardians of the Rift. I did a little bit of like Acid running, a little bit Astros, but not much. Nothing fucking crazy amount. Probably no more than I don't know, 15, 20 hours, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I didn't have no money for that shit.
So like as someone who did and like spent I think it was like 22 bill or more on rune crafting, like it would be so stupid for me to say, like, hey, like you don't have the money for it, like that doesn't, you can't have an opinion on the way that I'm training rune crafting because you can just train it some other way that, like I can train it and get 250k an hour. You can train it doing what you're doing and get maybe a third of the XP per hour. You don't have to complain about it because you just don't have to do it. Like it's such a poor opinion, I feel, to have. Like everyone's opinion's valid, like, but having that as
everyone's
well, everyone can have feedback. Their feedback can certainly be wrong, and I don't mean that in a like I'm better than you stance, but like you can't have that opinion of just don't engage in the content and nothing will change, because that's just in poor taste, I feel.
there's nobody that will be training woodcutting from now on without a two-handed axe. Like you will not see a single-handed axe in a week's time. It just won't exist.
Yeah.
Because you're just playing the game wrong if you're just deliberately being inefficient. Like, I don't know. It impacts everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
I did actually have one more thing I wanted to say on that. It's a little different, but I don't think a lot of the more like casual players, I hate saying labeling people like that, but however you want to say it, I don't think they realize, because I think a lot of people always seem to think it's like one side versus the other, like how much some of the more like people that play this game more are actually thinking of them. Because, the longer they actually do get into this game, because I've seen it with some of my IRL friends as well, they do kind of start to realize like RuneScape is a very fundamentally based game. And it's just a shame that they can't look past some of it sometimes. It's always like, if they don't want what I want, it's bad. And again, I just wish that more people were able to see a little more past than what's just in front of them.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a very perfect world, I know.
All right. So next is another one from Mr. Poppy is overall, what rating would you give Forestry? Like 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Like part 1 and 2 combined.
I don't think there's anything from Forestry Part 2 that I'd want to keep in the game. Forestry Part 1, I understand.
So you've engaged in it much more than I have. So I definitely have. Same with Capt King as well. I know, motherfucker. We talk like, Byro, like with you being much more like there's definitely some positive thing. Like I know we've been dogging on Forestry for like a half hour here, but like there's definitely some positive things. So like you can talk about some of the positives from it.
So the social aspect, I think, is great. The idea that, you and your mates or just anyone can just rock up to the trees at Draenor and just chat together and sort of feeling obligated to find a quiet spot. Like, it does lend into the fact that this is indeed a massive multiplayer online game. So I think that change was fine, and it didn't really break anything. The events, I think, could be fine. Like, they're sort of some of them are kind of enjoyable to do. It's like a distraction and diversion, as I like to call them. Like, it would have been fine. Add some rewards, add the bark. The rewards arc was really good. Outfit, it looks hideous, but it doesn't affect anything. The log basket, I think, was pretty well accepted into the community. Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Just Forestry Part 1 as it was, I think was in a decent spot. If maybe they could just nerf the XP rate, so you just do the events for the rewards instead of for the best XP. But then Forestry Part 2, you've got the two-handed axe, which is just free XP. That's just broken. Bonfires was unnecessary and literally just a step closer to RS3. And then you got the event where you're just standing still and then getting XP for standing still. You're incentivizing players to just stand still. That's just bad development, in my opinion. 4 out of 10, based on that initial part.
I'd be nice. From what you just said, I give it a 4 or 5 then, since I haven't done it.
I'll double that and go with a 2 out of 10.
What if you had to say, give me 2 things positive. Give me 1 thing positive about it. Because obviously it's not 1 out of 10. So there's some redeeming aspects of it. I'm just trying we've definitely been quite negative. So I'm trying to influx some positivity in the
transmogs.
All right.
Gives something to do, something different to do.
I think, I don't know, I really don't like it as it is. However, I think the like it could have been done better. I think the biggest thing they did wrong with Forestry, somebody said earlier, was it's more of a mini game. I think if they confined it more to an area, it would have gone way better. Because I also hate seeing server population jump up and down. It's really annoying. But besides that, I don't know. I want some of this to be good for the game. I just don't think they do it right at all. So for how it is in game right now, I mean, a 1 out of 10. I guess the only real positive thing I can say for it is just I like how they gave hype around something. I like when they hype up something skilling wise, but I just didn't like what they did with it at all. They missed a really big opportunity, I think, because also I think, how are you going to hype up something again in the future like that much, you know?
So we got a 4 out of 10, a 4 out of 10, a 2 out of 10, and a 1 out of 10. And then I am not giving it a rating. All right. What is that? What is that collective rating wise then? It's not too high.
Not looking too good.
No. Yeah, like, but then like ask someone 1,384 total what they think. Oh, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Well, that is fun. What do you mean, man?
Yeah, so it's
Well, didn't Jungik say like they had like an 80 or 90% overall positive feedback from Forestry? Like, where the hell are they pulling these numbers from? Reddit?
I would love to know that too. I'd love to know that where that data came from.
I don't know.
Went to the forestry world, found the magic trees, and then asked it in chat.
Yeah, they probably asked all the fucking bots.
So moving on, I'm going to talk about the Hunter Guild. What are your thoughts on the upcoming, big Hunter update with the Hunter Guild on Varlamore? Things like being assigned rumors, like essentially hunter but slayer tasks, a new pet, new best in slot food, and more. I mean, there's a lot that we could go in on it, but done it on the previous podcast, but with the new crew here, just want to briefly hear you guys talk about what you guys think on it.
You mean Huntistry? We're gonna go with Huntistry. How about that? We're gonna go with that because I feel like it's just gonna be a Forestry rework for Hunter. I mean, the whole task thing, I feel like is a bit odd. Like,
Artisan,
who came up with
but
that idea?
not someone who looked at Artisan from 2014 and said, "Yeah, let's do it."
I don't know. I love Hunter. Hunter was one of my favorite skills, and the pet, I don't care. The new best in slot food, I feel like we're just getting more into like RS3 with like rocktail soups or whatever they were called. And I don't know how I feel about the whole Hunter Slayer task. That's just a bit odd. But hopefully there's some Iron Men that I can kill in the Wildy have black chins. So
God's work there.
Yeah.
I actually really like it all, to be honest. I feel like Hunter's the most incomplete skill. Like, there's so much that it could offer that it just wasn't. I don't know. It's just like they started off with like Hunter Part 1, but they just never finished it off. So I think this might be a really nice like sequel to Hunter to like sort of round it off. I actually really like the rumors idea. I think it's great that it'll bring it gives you a reason to like go over old content, and like isn't that kind of what we want? Like make old content viable and like worth doing. And this is a way of doing that without it just making it busted. Like especially if they spec into the sort of reward space more so than the XP rates, then it's like it's an everyone wins. The map, like the entire world map, becomes more useful and used, and then it also doesn't affect us too much if we're just facing best XP rates. For best in slot food, I thought it was, the way I interpret it was not best in slot food, but more just like food with utility options.
It would. So there's two different things that would heal more than an angler does at 99, but it has like a delayed heal effect to it. They haven't talked about how long that delay is, but it would be something like you eat the first part of it, and then you immediately will get like, I don't know, like 12 or 13 health, and then maybe like 10 seconds later you'll get the other like 12 or 13 health for it, and it'll give like a little bit of a boost in something, but it has like a delayed secondary heal to it, which is what makes it like like it wouldn't be something that you would use in like PvP worlds or if you're doing anything like that. But like if you're not worried about getting attacked by a player, like it does heal. It would heal more than a angler or manta ray.
Manta
does.
ray, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely space for them to be able to balance it. And so I'm just gonna hope that they do, and then it's not too big of a deal, in my opinion.
I'm against all skilling guilds. I don't give a fuck what skill it is. I'm against all guilds. It sounds like RuneScape 3 garbage. Shitty ass slay tasks should be with shitty ass slay tasks. Food should be for cooking or some shit. New pet. We don't need a new pet for every little dinky minigame ever created. They need to go play RuneScape 3. The shit's garbage. And I'm not for it. I'm gonna go take a piss on that note, though.
Fuck yeah.
Couldn't have been said better.
How do I even comment after that, honestly?
Yeah, it sums it up.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, guys. Signing off.
I think that the Hunter Guild's not as bad of an idea as like Forestry Part 2 or Part 1, for example. Like I don't think that this one's going to be bad. And from what I've read in the blogs, it appears that they do have like a relatively decent plan for how they want the skill to be. And I think Hunter is definitely a skill. Like when I think back of like all the skills that I did to 200 mil, like Hunter, I think would probably be the one that if I had to redo it would be like that. I might feel like it was the worst skill that I trained. And there's really not viable methods for training Hunter. I mean, we got black chins, red chins, and herbivore. That's really, I mean, I guess you can say maniacal monkeys, which were never pulled, by the way. But like Hunter is not a good skill. And I don't think that coming out with this is a bad idea. And it seems like they're much more prepared and well planned out for this than most of the other skilling things. So like I think this one has potential to be okay.
I'm trying to be optimistic on this one too. Like, I don't know. I think they really could do really good because with this one, because I think Byro, what you just said, man, I didn't even really think about that until you mentioned, like, it is a very seemingly incomplete skill compared to, like, a lot of the other things we have in game. Only thing I do want to say, I'm not really for Slayer tasks type when it comes to stuff like that. I really didn't like Artisan, so I kind of wish they'd scrap that idea. But no, I think this could be good, especially, like, the new food. Again, this kind of stems back to it. They can have good ideas. I think it's cool that they're trying that. I hope we get the beta test that, of course, too. But yeah, trying to be optimistic about the Hunter Guild.
I mean, it definitely feels like it's a different team working on this than Forestry.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, they've got so
just
many
the
people
mindset.
Yeah. I mean, they've got so many different developers that they've got certain people that are, like they had a certain set of people that were assigned Desert Treasure 2 who did an amazing job. And they had a certain set of people that were, assigned to Forestry, and, they definitely missed the mark compared to the crew that did Desert Treasure 2. So they've got their, although you've got people that with the title of, content developer, they've got like teams inside of that work on different things. And, I don't know who's going to be assigned to work on the Hunter Guild stuff, but it does not seem like I'm not seeing anything that says disaster written on it. It seems like it'll be okay.
Yeah, at least they're not like trying to like force it so much too. Like it seems like they're kind of taking their time a little more with this.
If they actually do, I would be surprised. That's it.
Yeah. Do you guys think that all skills need a guild? We've been, trending towards filling them up over the years. I'm trying to think like how many different guilds we have now, but for the skills that don't have them, do you think that they should continue to work towards getting guilds for all skills? And if anyone here plays RS3, like, are there any guilds in there that would maybe be okay in here? If anyone happens to know.
I unfortunately don't play RS. Well, I don't even know if I want to say unfortunately, but anyway, I don't play RS3, but I don't know. It depends on how the guilds are introduced. I mean, are we talking about these new guilds coming into game like the range guild, which is like just kind of there for aesthetics almost, or are we talking about something like the farming guild that just straight up buff things? You know, I mean,
I mean,
think
like if you look at like the guilds, like I would say that if they're going to be adding guilds, it's probably going to be more so in the image of the farming guild, because they're going to want people to go there. They're going to want people to engage in it. And I mean, aside from going to the range guild to buy a range cape, I don't know, or any kind of diary related thing, I don't know why anyone goes to the range guild right now aside from that. So
Now you go there for
No.
the arrows, the headless arrows as a
mm,
Iron Man.
okay.
And see, like, there isn't too much reward to that. And maybe, obviously, I think the Range Guild could use a little something more if we want to go down that route. But, like, I guess my whole point is just I don't think we need guilds like the farming guilds coming out anymore. I like cool little things to enter the game that you can more so just appreciate and not just do. But I don't think we need every skill to have a guild if they're just all going to be straight up buffs.
Fishing guild's pretty decent, like for what it is. Like, you don't have to engage, but like you don't have to engage in the content there, but people do.
See, the fishing guild is actually a good example, and like I guess you could even say the woodcutting guild too. So like they can do it, right?
Yeah. Woodcutting guild, yeah, and I mean the woodcutting guild is something that they actually made rather than just like inherited and already in the game. So, yeah, I think the woodcutting guild's actually pretty solid.
And if they have the idea of just like, you know, like the guild, the woodcutting guild, the idea there is that you just get a small boost. Like when you're in the woodcutting guild. I guess it's kind of small, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, I don't mind so much. But you know, when it's talking about bigger stuff like the farming guild, it's just too much.
Okay. I think that if they add like, I mean, I don't know how after the Hunter Guild, I'm not sure what other guilds would potentially fit in being added in. You know, like we've got quite a number of them. You know, like even thinking like the Magic Guild doesn't ever get any love. And I mean, maybe I was gonna say maybe a construction guild, like, but they would like rebrand the Mahogany Homes as essentially that. But no, I mean, looking at that, and then you got all these different buyables. I don't think that any of them would be a thing. I don't know if they would come out with any other guilds. I don't know if any others are needed. You know, if you were to say pick one of the skills that probably most needs a guild, it would probably be Hunter.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So, like, you know, for all the negativity surrounding, like Forestry, I definitely don't get that feel at all from, like the Hunter Guild.
I don't think we need guilds, a guild for any damn skills. But I don't know. I mean, they could go either or. Like, you have the fishing guild and the woodcutting guild, like you guys said. That's nothing crazy. Doesn't really like devalue the skill or anything. So in that matter, I guess it's okay. But oh well, I'm not against all that shit.
Cooking guild dead.
Yeah.
I think it's just really hard to make a lot of it even like fit into the game, really is what it is too. I mean, I think like you said, Randy, like the Hunter Guild's probably the last like fitting thing that will really come into the game. Otherwise it's just gonna kind of be like, well, like why did this even come in?
Yeah.
I think Jagex will always think of something stupid, so
I mean, like
Right.
the machine needs to keep moving.
Yeah.
The money needs to keep flowing.
he's trying to sell the company. They gotta keep throwing shit in.
You know, like I will be playing the lottery every time, like that it comes up between now and sailing coming out. And I promise you guys, if I happen, like, hold on, what's the lottery winning right now? The Powerball.
We all know if you don't live in California, you're never winning the Powerball.
Well, what's the Powerball price right now? Fuck, I'm trying to get it to come up here. Oh, it's only 125 million right now.
Only.
Well, dude, you ain't getting a significant stake in Jagex at that. Like it was, fucking, it was like over a bill. I think it was like 1.4 bill, like earlier this year. Like once the
power ago, I think.
Was it?
I think it was.
Like,
and some little dinky town, I think in California, some guy hit it.
Oh, good for him. But
yeah.
But like if it starts reaching 500 mil, like if your take home at like lump sum starts exceeding 500 mil, I'm gonna start playing it. And if I win the Powerball, I will be buying Jagex. I will be removing sailing. I will do it for the community. 700 mil, 800 mil, a bill, whatever. If I win the Powerball and I get to take home over a bill, I'll do what it takes for the community.
You gotta add the Hexis statue back into Clan Wars.
Oh,
yeah. First update.
Absolutely. Get us that statue back.
Put it in the middle of Falador. Which everyone knows.
I'll put it at the fucking GE entrance. It can be like one of the pillars holding up the roof.
Symbolic.
Yeah, shit. But all right. So moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about sailing. So yeah, like we're still going to keep talking about sailing as we get new guests on the podcast. So I'm not really going to be talking about it much in these sections, but I want to hear what everyone else has to say about it. So sailing has not had any news about it since it passed the poll 2 months ago. What do you think about this lack of information that we've had so far?
Can I just interject? What update are you expecting to hear from them?
How about, hey, it has passed the poll. Here's what our plans are now. Because here's the thing: when they gave us a full guideline as to what their plan for development was going to be leading up to it passing the poll, and it passed the poll. But like with what is anticipated to be the biggest update in RuneScape history, I think that us having 2 months of silence to me is concerning. The Discord server, that was the new skills server, they said that it was going to continue to be active after it passed the poll, and that just has not been. And it seems like, for me, it gives off the appearance they did everything in their power to get it to pass the poll, and then now they're just taking what has been a multi-month break from it. It kind of, for me, gives the impression that it confirms all the suspicions that I had about the polling process. And I think that one thing that they, 2 months for the biggest update in RuneScape history, they could at least give an update as to what's going on with it.
And when are they actually supposed to be adding this ship?
They said it would be late 2024. So I mean, like it could still be over a year away right now as we sit.
I mean, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather than take their time on it rather than rush it. But about, hey, here is what we've been working on for 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely troublesome that they have not talked about it since it passed. Hopefully they do a good job. I want to hold my breath, though. I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
I'm hoping maybe in this 2 months' time they've realized that sailing's just not the skill for this game. I know that's not the case, but it is very concerning that they haven't really spoken. Like, honestly, I think the biggest concern is that I don't think they're taking it as seriously as it should, because, like, obviously this is debatably going to be one of the most impactful things that's happened to this game.
I don't know if it's a debate.
Yeah, true, fair point. But I don't know. It's a shame that it's coming in now almost, because I don't know. I've never really wanted a new skill, but I think if they were going to do anything like this, it would have made sense to do it way earlier, because one of the best benefits this game did have from the start was everything was kind of concreted into the game at the start, and to add something at this scale, this late into its existence is just, Nah, man, I don't think that's the right move.
Well, I mean, they've never had the opportunity to add it before because nothing has ever passed a 75%, approval rating, and that's why they had to lower the passing percentage in the first place to get sailing to pass.
Yeah.
But I think that mainly it like, even if you look at like the mods who have been kind of, at least it appears, assigned on the preliminary work for it with Elena, Husky, and Light, like even they're not like, you've got the Discord server, which hasn't had any kind of updates on it. You have the news posts that haven't had any updates on it. But even looking, like, I haven't seen anything from Husky, Elena, or Light that has given me a shred of confidence in the future development for it. I can tell you, like, in June, I was starting to come around on sailing, and I messaged Husky about it. But, like, I am pretty skeptical right now.
I'm. Oh, sorry. You go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Someone's not talking. I don't know. Oh, me. Okay, cool. I don't know. I'm not too skeptical on it. Like, it seems to me like they're just trying to like get the skill to a level that they're happy with. Like, it's gonna be like a year until it comes out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. That's there's so much time for iterations and whatnot. Like, surely right now they're trying to make up all this content to fill the skill up with, and then I can imagine if wait for a few more months, and then that's when they're like, okay, we're happy with what we have now. Like, this is a product that we're happy with. What do you think? And I don't think they've reached that point yet, so I don't think they're going to be asking for feedback because they're not even happy with themselves.
I don't even know if they've put any work into it since it passed. Like, there's no reason to believe that they have.
I mean, I assume they have. Like, it's a big enough team. They'll be working on it. It's a big effort. There's a lot going on, and there's no point them sharing what they've done if they're not happy with themselves, because then we're just providing the feedback that they could provide themselves just by looking at it.
See, if they didn't have the track record they did, I might be a little more on board with that. But like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad that you can't speak lightly on that like you are, because like I do try to be optimistic like that too. But man, it just, time shows, man.
I think that they've done an excellent job with quest updates that they've done. I think that they've done a phenomenal job with damn near every PVM thing that they've ever come out with. But skilling has just been something that I feel like they've consistently failed to meet a quality mark, and especially then when you compare it to how great a lot of the PVMing updates have been. I don't know. I would just like to see more. Because one of the things that I kind of praised them on in the sailing process was like how great their communication was and how good their planning was for it, and like how this process was very different from every one that they had ever done before. But passed and we haven't heard a word, so I don't know. But of the 3 skills that the team initially moved forward with, being sailing, shamanism, and taming, of those 3, which one did you like best, or did you dislike all of those options? All right, he's muted. Go ahead, Byro.
Yeah, I was always on board with sailing. So what I think makes sailing stick out against the other 2 is, for me, the selling point of sailing was the experience that it, I don't know, provides, or it looks like it's going to provide. Whereas for me, shamanism was all about just buffing stuff. Like, that's the reward space. It's just, your sword now has smite or whatever attached to it. And so that's just, the reward is power creep, whereas sailing, the reward is an experience. And I feel like that's so much better for the game, where the skill can uphold itself and people want to train the skill for the sake of training the skill, and it doesn't just power creep everything. And then taming is just Pokemon. Like, just play Pokemon if you want to tame. Like, it's that simple. But yeah,
I like them all, but I voted for sailing just because, I mean, you had to vote for a long time in a way. And then I was hoping that sailing would not cost like a shit ton since, we have no GP over on this side, so.
Well, lucky for you, they said it's not going to be a buyable.
Yeah, that's what.
Shamanism probably would have been a big time buyable.
Yeah, well, yeah. I saw that. I was like, nope, just because I want to be needing fucking bills on bills, probably.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for any of them. Not necessarily because I don't think some of the ideas weren't decent, but like sailing I think could be good, but I just don't think it fits into this game to have a new skill. So I think my answer is going to be a little biased in that sense.
So I think that sailing definitely fits into the game much better than taming or shamanism did. So like of the options, it was definitely the best of the three, I feel like, for what tries to capture the old school feel. So
I agree.
I mean, I feel like it was destined to win from the beginning. Like, I said it before in the podcast, like if shamanism lost by like 500 votes or something like that, I feel like if it had any other name, it would have passed, like, as opposed to sailing. I really do. Like, you say the name of a skill and you know exactly what it is. You say the name of shamanism, you have no fucking clue. So
yeah, that's true.
So what did you think about sailing, like ending up being to be the one that beat the other three? Like how did you end up voting in the lock-in poll? Like that they hid in the middle of a poll with 12 different questions. How'd you vote? Did you vote yes,
like
no,
the first
skip?
question on the fucking voting for that week.
It should have been the only question.
Not
like literally
fucking 15 questions deep down. Not fucking 2 questions. The second question deep. It should have been number 1. Again, I voted for Sam because it was not supposed to be a buy, though, basically. I mean, it is what it is.
So you voted yes?
Yeah, I voted yes on sailing, yeah.
I love the passion, shit talking, and then still going yes on it. Oh shit. Well,
yeah, I have to do some kind of entertainment tonight.
Well, there you go.
Sailing?
I think I voted yes, but like I can't really remember. I am like on board with sailing. I think it's gonna be good for the game. Obviously that relies on the team making a good skill, but I think it'll be great. And I think, like, for the majority, everyone's sort of looking forward to it, especially just like the hype that's sort of attached to the new leaderboard and all that, and just the new exploration of like, okay, like how do we train this? Because we're so hyper focused on doing everything efficiently, and this is like a new challenge. So I'm looking forward to it.
Damn, I just want to say, as much as I shit talk this, I do really appreciate your optimism on it. I don't know. Again, I'm not even trying to be sarcastic at all when I say this. I'm serious. Like, it is nice to see the optimism in it. I, unfortunately, am not going to be very optimistic just because of how the, time's gone with this game. But I voted no. Well, I actually didn't vote at all, but I don't know, man. Sailing... I just hope Byro's right, I guess. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, I mean, like, there's definitely potential for it. I voted no. I just think that they pulled it way, way too fucking early, and it was very out of place in the poll that it was in, and that kind of soured me on it.
Yeah, it's just like the whole idea of it in general, like just how they're doing it. It's like, even if they didn't, let's pretend they didn't do it in that sense, but like if you're shadily putting something in like that, like what am I supposed to expect out of your work? I mean, people's actions speak so loudly, and just I've noticed that my whole life. I don't understand how some people are so on board with this company.
It's not as passionate, or at least kind of what that comes down to, I feel. But yeah, Howie, how'd you vote in the poll?
I voted no on like all my alts.
How many total was that?
Like 6.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the whole sailing. I feel like it only passed because of the whole meme behind it.
Oh, I mean, there were a lot of reasons why it passed, and they did an excellent job controlling.
Wording it. Oh,
They did an
yeah.
excellent job of controlling the events leading up to it and ensure.
Yeah,
Like,
didn't
with the assignment of get a new skill to pass, they did an A+ job from a performance standpoint.
Yeah, didn't they sneak it into a poll with like a bunch of other quality of life shit and they put it as like question 6 or 9?
There were 12 questions on the poll.
Yeah.
It was question number 6 after 5 Varlamore questions.
Yeah, what the actual fuck? Like,
it was not
I don't know.
included. It was not included on the roadmap during the summer summit, but everything else on the poll was. So it was.
it's as if they knew it wasn't gonna pass, or they just wanted it to pass. Because in my opinion, this is my conspiracy. They've already been working.
Hold on. Before you hit your conspiracy, the next question pretty much is probably going to open that up for you. So, do you think had they not manipulated the polls by lowering the passing standard from 75% to 70 and hiding it in the middle of a... So when they polled it, it was on after the summer summit. It was not included on the roadmap with everything else that was on that. Everything on that poll had over 90+% passing, but they hid it as the 6th question in there, and it got 71.9%. So my question is, do you think had they not manipulated every single thing that they possibly could have, do you think sailing would have eventually passed with 75% if they had some refinement done to it?
Man, that's really hard to say, honestly. I think you said it perfect earlier. They certainly did a damn good job of making it pass. I don't really know if that would have passed with 75% with refinement, man. I still am kind of in the sense that 75% of the game still doesn't really want this. So no, I really don't think that would have passed even with the refinement.
I mean, Jagex has the numbers. They've calculated, fully estimated what people are going to vote. So I think if they made all those decisions that they did, then they probably are also of the mindset that no, it would not have passed. Like, they made all those decisions for a reason.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're well informed on that.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
I would agree. I mean, I don't know. If it was 75%, I would have said no. It probably would not have passed.
Are y'all ready?
Yeah, what's your conspiracy? I'm very anti-sailing, but even if I think your shit is super conspiracy, I'll let you know.
I hate that they added or they snuck it into a poll that was totally off topic. Hold on, my dog. Outside. Hey, yeah.
I like it.
Amazing conspiracy theory. So,
dogs were all over the place and they're going to get loud. So I hate that they snuck it into the middle of a freaking poll as if like that is not like the most snarky, like sneaky link hookup type thing you could ever fucking do. I don't know. So my conspiracy is that they've already been working on sailing for months, probably. Like, they've already invested so much dev time into it and actually creating the skill itself that they're like, oh, well, it's too late to back out now. We've already invested all this time and man hours into actually developing and making the skill, because I don't think they were going to hit their timeline where if it passes, then they start working on it. I think they've already been working on it for 6 months or longer, and that it's just taken them a long time because it's a new skill. They want it to be perfected and whatnot. So I think that they were already working on the skill as is, and they're like, well, we don't want to waste all this dev time, so let's sneak it into this poll and hope nobody questions us. And then if they do question us, we'll just be like, oh, like, put our hands up in the air and like wave them like we just don't care.
Why do I think they do that with a lot of shit?
But why did they not put it as poll question? Even if it's in that poll, that's totally related, like off topic. Why did they not make it the very first question?
Yeah.
Because they know everyone wants this Varlamore crap, so they're going to just vote yes to everything without reading everything. So they're going to put it in the middle of the poll.
Yeah, sounds about right from Jagex.
So some of what you said is definitely right. They have been working on it for months because they've shown us as they've talked, about the development process with that. They've had Q&As on it, and they've showcased like ship movement and a few things they spent some time developing the skill before it passed. Like, that's definitely right. I think Byro made a really good point that I hadn't thought about before, though, was that like they've got a lot of numbers, they got a lot of people, they got a lot of set. Like, everything that in their power that they did was just enough for it to pass, and that they probably had an idea that it wasn't going to hit 75% if they didn't do everything that they did for it. I had spoken before that I thought that it probably would have been able to get 75%, but if you kind of think about all the different variables that they had to change for a favorable situation, if this thing was pulled out, and I've got a post that I need to reply to in the new skills server, the dead one, by the way. When I posted in there that I was concerned that there hadn't been any chat at all. So like one of the things that I said in there was, and this was yesterday that I put the message in, not hearing or seeing a single thing about the biggest update in the history of the game for 2 months after it passed the poll is highly concerning. Gives a feel that no progress or development has been made of any kind in that time, which very well may be true, may not be, but we just don't know anything. I think pulling something more than a year before it is planned for release, then immediately taking a multi-month break after it passes continues to reaffirm the skepticism that people have about the process. And no, it kind of leads you here. Like, they should have, like, at the earliest, I feel like they probably should have pulled sailing after they get back from all their holiday breaks, and like in January, I felt like should have probably been the earliest that it should have came out, or I'm sorry, should have been pulled. So like, if it was pulled on its own, I think that it might not have done as well. Because, I mean, there are a lot of people that voted yes to it because they voted yes to the first 5 fucking questions and then just continued to hit yes as they spam scrolled down.
Yeah.
I mean, they're smart. I mean, they lowered that passing percentage from 75 to 70, and less than 2 months late. Like, the amount of time that we have had between now and when sailing passed, there was less time in between that than when and I'm wording it so fucking poorly. There was less time in between them lowering the passing percentage and then having the Winter Summit with a new skill than there has been since sailing has passed and we've gotten an actual update on it. So I don't know. I had initially thought that it would pass with further refinement, but with Byro made, I think they might have known that even with refinement, it might not have gotten it, and pulling it on its own, it might not have gotten it. But, talk about like the summit. One of the things is that, should I have not been updating the topic on screen? So the Halloween event, so apparently it's the same Halloween event as we've had before, but the Halloween event was deemed big enough of an update that it got a post in its whole own section on the Summer Summit roadmap, and sailing did not. Do you have any problem with that as the presentation for the Halloween event? Given that it was a copy and paste.
Sorry, what? Sorry, someone else go. I'm going to read the question.
Yeah, I think that is a fucking problem.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Because if the Halloween event was the same as last year, like that's crazy. That's, I don't know. That's nonsense.
Well, I think that them hyping it up during the Summer Summit and it having its own section on the roadmap for development, not that these events really matter, but like, I just didn't like the presentation for what eventually then ended up being the execution of it. Honestly, it reeks to me that they had a plan for it and eventually just said, you know what, fuck it. We're just gonna copy and paste.
I mean, yeah,
which to me seems lazy.
Yeah, it is. Jagex is lazy.
I mean, I don't really have any reason to give them the benefit of the doubt, which is unfortunate. Like on that.
like I said, Jagex is at it again. Copy and paste, copy and paste.
Yeah, that's what they do with
Yeah,
that pheasant pet.
I feel like they threw it in there as a filler, really,
Yeah, for sure.
And
to make it look like there's a lot of content coming out and make it like hype. And, oh, we got all this content coming out, blah blah. When in reality, it's all just fucking.
I mean, it didn't. It literally took 0 time for the Halloween event, but like they spent more time talking about the Halloween event and projecting it during the summer summit than the event
And a
like
big ass scale.
then well, yes, but also like the actual development. I mean, all they had to do was just copy and paste it in. You know, I what to me the feel that I get from it is this. You know, this is one of the things that they just wanted to put on a little fucking image, so when they go to sell the game, that is what they can show is here's the roadmap. And prospective buyers aren't looking at the actual content itself that's releasing. They're just looking at a roadmap that some graphics person on Jagex put together for it. So
Yeah.
that's the way I feel like looking at what was presented and how it was executed.
Probably the same person that made the Torvo rework.
you know, you could kind of argue it's not as big of a deal, but to me, I mean, I'm somebody that actually really likes the holiday events. It's probably like one of the last nostalgic things this game really brings to me anymore. Because I don't know, when I play the game anymore, I'm pretty much playing at a level that my child self couldn't even imagine. So, you know, when I do events like this, it kind of brings back the nostalgia, and I really like that. So I was just really bummed that they just didn't care really to put any effort in, let alone put any effort in itself. I hope that they don't do that with the Christmas event, and I just hope that people take note on things like this, because again, even if it's small, I think little things like this really do speak.
This feels sloppy.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just come on, man. Like, it wasn't even a hard thing to do. You know, like, we're not asking for much, but you literally couldn't even change really much of anything. It's a joke.
I'm the kind of person that like I'll do the event first on my ult, so that I can like memorize what to do for my main, so I can do it faster. So like I do not care less like that. We don't have it, but I mean, yeah, it does sort of show bad planning on Jagex' part. But at the end of the day, I just don't really care less on that.
Yeah, it just to me just feels sloppy, and it's unfortunate that you know, not to say that like we're all hyped up or anything for a Halloween event, but like why the fuck is this getting its own section in a, you know,
On the roadmap, yeah.
Yeah, for it to then just be literally a copy and pasted thing. But
I'd love to know the mindset behind them figuring that that can be in the way it is, yet somehow sailing. Like, again, I just think that should have literally been one single question. How anybody can come to that conclusion is beyond me.
well, I mean, you know, they knew what they were doing is the thing, and you know that's why afterwards there was a lot of like they had to specifically, the team itself specifically addressed why sailing wasn't pulled on its own and why it was included as part of that, like the giga poll. But
I guess I'm kind of playing like dumb in a sense where I'm just kind of trying to understand, really, if that makes sense. Like, how, you know, like, of course I can understand from the money point, but I guess it's just disappointment yet again.
yeah, but here's one thing that I found that was interesting on there was that the Halloween post states that Varlamore is shaping up to be Old School RuneScape's biggest launch to date. I gotta say, like, pretty ignorantly, it does not seem like that's the case at all. And additionally, they have at least like 72 mods on the team. It seems like we've had much larger updates in the past when the team was like a tenth of the current size that it currently is. You know, I mean, we got the Coliseum, the Hunter Guild, there's some other, but like this certainly does not seem like it's the biggest thing, the biggest update or biggest launch to date. Are we missing out on anything, or like what do you think about that statement? Is it misleading perhaps? How do you feel?
Where are they pulling these numbers from is what I want to know. Are they just pulling them out of their ass?
I've
Is
been
it fake
asking that
news?
for
Like
probably
what?
centuries now. So I mean,
I don't know where they're pulling all these stats from.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the second paragraph of the thing. The Varlamore is shaping up to be Old School Runescape's biggest launch to date. So,
I mean, it could just be marketing. But, like, to be fair, can we really judge the size of an update given that it hasn't come out yet? We do not know the full extent of it.
well, I mean, they've had multiple devlogs as to what we're going to be expecting for it. I just I don't know. Like, I was just curious. Like, are we missing anything, or like, it certainly doesn't seem like it's the biggest update ever.
Well, I assume the stuff we've seen is just, like, what's going to be out on, like, launch. But I assume, because it's, like, a massive area like Zaya, there's just going to be more updates coming after it. That's how I interpret it anyway. So, I mean, they could be right. Like, I'm sure it is one of the largest, if not the biggest. But
I don't know. So like and I could be missing something, but like it certainly doesn't seem like it's the biggest update. Not close. And I feel like that is something that, again, like they're wording specifically as an idea for, or like it's phrased in that way to try to appeal to prospective buyers.
what would you say was bigger update?
I think the initial Zaya release was definitely bigger, and
But there was, like, nothing there, though. Like, it was just land.
well, it was definitely big in that aspect. You still had the 5 different houses that you had. There was the rune crafting with the blood and soul runes. You had the catacombs.
But, like, once again, those are just, like, just land with, like, things you can click and hit on. Like, it's not like polished content with rewards that are like impact high-end PVM. Like, there's like some big ticket items going into Varlamore, which is going to take a lot of dev time compared to just, oh yeah, let's just pop a rock here,
I don't know what to think about it, to be honest. Like, you think if it was supposed to be this big, you think they'd be talking about it a lot and stuff, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I'll say they've definitely talked about it a bit, and that was like the thing that they spent the most amount of time talking about for the summer summit. But
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I guess we would see when it comes out. I guess I don't really have no faith in Jagex, so I mean.
all right. In that post also there was a RuneFest survey included in the post. And it looks like they're probably looking at returning RuneFest in 2024 with that in mind. So like, question earlier, have you ever attended RuneFest? Would you be interested in going? And what would be the biggest change that they could make that would make you want to attend RuneFest?
Right off the bat, biggest change would probably be to have one in the US, so I don't have to fly to the UK for it. Would I go? Probably. I mean, if I can get a bunch of people that like I know that in game that I want to meet up with or hang out with, sure. By all means, I would love to go probably one day. Hopefully it's just not like a cringe fest there though. But I feel like it would be a lot of fun, and hopefully it being in the UK, I don't want to get barred from the UK, so I don't want to. There's some people I have some gripe with that if I saw it,
Don't go.
Yeah, they would get the backhand, more disrespectful.
I've never gone. It's pretty expensive for like when because they haven't had it for, I think 2019 was the last year that they had it. And,
How much was it?
I remember looking at something that like if we were to get like tickets, so like I would have had to fly out of Chicago, and I'm not sure if it was a direct flight or if it was gonna stop somewhere before getting to like the UK. I think it was gonna fly in at London. I don't fucking know what, but it was definitely expensive. I think, and then like if you include like hotel and other shit, like it was probably like I think it was like close to 3K, and that would have been for like just the weekend. I'll say this though, when I in 2020, February 2020, when I was talking with Sween, I got invited to Jagex, and I was gonna help with the development of the clan system. COVID happened, and that ended up ruining it. But like that would have been really spectacular. Like it was gonna, for me, it was gonna be like an all expenses paid trip to Jagex to help with like I was gonna be a part of like the focus group for the development of the clan system. But COVID happened and that fell through, which really, really fucking sucked. And I mean, they essentially have not been open since then, and that was almost 4 years ago. In 2019, like I definitely like had the money to go, but I didn't have the ability to take off work to go. And then, prior years to that probably wasn't at a point to where I could justify dropping like 3K on a weekend, where it would be just like for myself. But yeah, I mean, biggest changes they could make would be having it in the United States. I imagine that they would like the 3 places they would potentially have it, and by 3 I really feel like it would only be 1, because like in California would be way too far given where they are geographically. But I could see them. I shouldn't say I could see them. They're never, ever, ever. The logistics don't make sense, and everything doesn't make sense. But like if they had it in Chicago or New York, I think those would be the 2 most likely places they would have it in. But I would definitely go if they were in one of those spots. And it's unfortunate. So like with RuneFest, they've always typically had it like in September or October. And with where sailing is projected to be, like I think there's a chance that RuneFest will come out like while sailing's going on. I think that would be a bit like if I were interested in going next year, which I'm not, because I'm saving up my time off for sailing, not for RuneFest. But I feel like it'll probably be coming out during like the sailing launch window, or it'd be something like they will announce at RuneFest like, hey, sailing's dropping next month or something like that. Would be my expectations for next year's RuneFest if they do in fact bring it back.
If I ever went to RuneFest, fuck no. Would I want to go? Probably not, even if it was in the United States and it was like extremely like close by. I don't really care for RuneFest, so I mean, no.
I'd still go to RuneFest. Some aspects of this game I don't like, but I'm very passionate about it. I'd love to at least say I've gone one time. Actually, I was supposed to go the year of 2020 COVID. Like I had the money saved up and everything, and I was literally just gonna go like by myself. I kind of enjoy doing shit by myself, so I was like really, really looking forward to that. I had all the money saved up and everything, and then COVID hit, and that never ended up happening. But yeah, all said and done, I would very much go to at least one RuneFest just to say I've gone.
Yeah, I'd love to go. I think that's pretty awesome. I always watch the live stream, but yeah, unless they're coming to Australia, I just don't think it'll be worth my money. Chances are low, but maybe.
It might be most expensive for you out of anyone here to go, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably. Bottom of Australia too, so it'd be a long flight.
It would be neat for like a gold sink if they could buy a RuneFest ticket with in-game gold.
You used to be like real shit. You were able to do that like 7 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was with RS3 money though, but yeah, you were able to buy. It was literally everything. You could get an all expense, I guess, like GP paid. Like you could get your ticket and your hotel because they had like a certain hotel block that they were going to be using. Like you could have, like been able to go to RuneFest by using your in-game GP only.
Bringing up the Rune Drag ults right now.
Which is definitely an interesting thing in that I can't imagine they'd ever do. I don't know if that ended up fully happening or if they canceled it in the middle for like that as a thing, but like it was definitely something at a point.
Do you know what would be nuts? If they just had one golden ticket and then just like went to the highest bidder for like OS gold. and people are just dropping like tens of bills, hundreds of bills for the golden ticket. That would be like the most nuts gold sink.
That would have it like almost like the will of good the well of goodwill.
Yeah.
Kind of,
I wish they would do that more.
I would love to go, and now I'm definitely at a point to where like, the attending's not an issue from a time off or from any other obstacles in the way. It's just I feel like it's gonna come out around sailing based on when RuneFest has historically been, and I gotta save all my time for that shit. So, and then I'm quitting afterwards. So I don't see myself ever eventually attending one.
You're not quitting.
Oh, for sure I will.
I like your enthusiasm, but you're not quitting.
You will see.
You'll make an Iron Man eventually. You'll come back to the game.
There's no shot I make an Iron Man. I'm gonna get 200 mil all, and then again, or I guess 200 mil sailing, by not like taking off work for like 2-3 months, and then resigning from there, and then hopefully having a kid 9 months after that. That's the plan.
Copium.
Man.
But all right,
don't play an Iron Man anymore, bro. Just play a main, man. Like that. I swear, Iron Man is like just playing a main anymore. Anyway, like I'm sorry for any people out there, but it's so devalued. It's fucking.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no shot I'd play an Iron, but I talked about it before. But here's where the topic actually is that. Like this week alone, we received Shooting Stars update, like for the changes to it. The Forestry Part 2 came out. Fortis Coliseum devlog was released, and the Perilous Moons first look and rewards post. Then we also had the Jagex launcher news post earlier today as well. That's all within the last week. Is the game progressing way too fucking fast?
Yeah, they need to slow the fuck down. But I don't see that happening since it's up for sale. They're going to be pushing as much as they can, probably.
Pump and dump.
Yep.
I think like this week might be a bit of an outlier. Like I don't know if it's a fair comparison. You'd have to look at the average blog rate over a longer period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a condensed time frame that we're looking at, but like as I was putting together the format for the podcast, like we've got like 7, almost 8 pages worth of stuff here. Like when I had the initial thing, it was like more than, at a point, I think I had like what would have been more than 10 pages worth of discussion, and it was like, holy shit. And I still haven't even addressed everything on this here. So this is more of something that like I noticed when it was like, damn, like we don't have enough time to even talk about everything that's going on just from this week alone, let alone like the submitted topics and other things that are going on. So yeah, I don't know. Seems like it's going way too fast. And yeah, I put out that tweet earlier today. Let me see, how much juice did it get? I think I got 59 likes and 9 responses. I'll give that a read over at some point. But yeah, it just feels pretty overwhelmed. Like, and I'd certainly say like we all play the game more than most people that are voting yes to every single update that comes in. So like how the fuck, like how the fuck does a casual player keep up with the updates coming to the game? I have no idea. There's no way. There's no way.
And the fact that they're still asking for more content, it's just like, yeah.
I mean, it seems overwhelming in terms of like the quantity of updates, but it could just be the specific time frame that we're looking at.
Well, I was thinking about that too because my brother was messaging me saying that he's thinking about playing RS again. He used to play like pre-OC days, and it made me wonder like all the new shit that's in game, like I can't even like give him like show him the ropes or anything. Like it's just there's so much shit in the game. It's like, yeah, have fun, good luck. Like you're gonna have to go on your own and learn.
which a lot of people aren't even willing to do now anyway. But I don't know. I think the game's moving way too fast too. You could argue, yeah, that we're kind of in a weird spot right now with everything, but also it's like, I don't know. Like, there's so much that they're already not really entailing or giving us details on. So, like,
Well, I mean, like,
why do they feel the need to do more now?
I mean, if you think like how many side projects that these guys like, because they get time to work on like personal projects as well. Like how many things are going on that we don't know about as well? It's like, man, just feels.
I struggle
just feels
very.
Like a lot.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just feels like
I just. Go on. My bad, man.
That's it. That's it.
I was just gonna say, oh shit, I actually totally fucking forgot. Never mind. My bad, I cut you off like twice there. Couldn't have been that important, right?
Shit. All right. So we're gonna start talking about some more like miscellaneous things. But what do you have any predictions on what the next big change to an existing skill might be?
No, but I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead.
I assume we're like not talking about Hunter. That's like the obvious one's going to be changed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, like in terms of old skills, maybe smithing hasn't been like touched in ages. I don't know if you've watched the most recent Q&A. They've got Mod Rice on. Things new. He was talking about wanting some smithing changes. I mean, obviously he's just like, a junior. They're just asking juniors, the usual questions, but
Yeah.
I feel like it might actually happen.
Hopefully there's something with herb lore for iron. I really don't want to do a bunch of like farming contracts and herb runs, and I'm not asking for like a winter pot for fucking herb lore, but hopefully something for irons with herb lore. Apart from that, maybe something with rune crafting, or I don't know, like, or
Runecrafting's got a lot of changes to it. I think that like if I had to make any predictions on what the next big skill or the next big skill update would be, I think it would probably be to thieving. If I had to take one, like it's a skill that hasn't really been updated much, but like here's the thing, it's a very fucking good skill with how it is. It offers a plethora of different ways that people can train it. You can AFK with the Gem Knights. You can do Pyramid Plunder. Like I think that thieving is a fine skill. It doesn't need to be touched, but that's why I think it's going to be the next skill that gets a major update to it. So thieving would be my next prediction for a big skill revamp.
Gem Knights is a lot of fun, and I'm almost done with it now on my alt too. My
Fun?
alt with thieving.
Huh? Are you having fun? Is your foot pedal excited every time we get a
It's like, dude, I love doing foot pedal Gem Knights. Well, on the iron, when I did it during COVID, it was great. I played Rust for like 140 hours a week.
Yeah, so it's not Gem Knights that's
You're not
fun.
playing RuneScape, though.
Well, it's you don't have to pay attention. You just fucking sit there and tap your foot away.
Well, that's the good thing
so
about
you're getting an exercise. You're not playing RuneScape.
Or you can be like, or you can be like somebody that I know, and I won't say names, but they have like a baby. They have babies, so they take a Bluetooth mouse and they put it in their hand, walk around the house with it just clicking. Or like, I don't know, you could probably tape it to the bottom of your dog's foot and take him for a walk. Like,
You strat.
there's so many different ways about it. But no, if I put poker chips on an F1 key to hold down my F1 key to open and close my inventory on an alt that I had, that's botting, and I get banned for it, and I don't get unbanned because it's a form of botting. Just saying. That was really dumb.
That seems like Duke mining.
It was so dumb. I was using a foot pedal on an alt iron that I made. It was like a pier, and I was doing thieving for GP to buy crafting, and so I had the foot pedal going on my spare laptop that I had, and I had the poker chips holding the F1 key up and down, and I moved my inventory over the RD Knight, and then positioned my mouse right over the RD Knight and the coin pouches, so that way when I'm clicking, it just spams, opens, and closes the inventory in resizable mode or whatever, the fixed, not fixed mode, but the resizable, and you just you just tap away, so you don't have to keep opening the coin pouches every 28. Now they, obviously they have the update where you can have like 140, but yeah, apparently having poker chips on an F1 key is botting instead of me using my finger to hold it down.
I was gonna agree with Randy as far as I thought thieving would probably be the next one.
Or agility.
Agility. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I could definitely see thieving before agility, but yeah.
Agility's still, I mean, guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, agility.
Here's the thing. There's not a very AFK way of training agility, so that one has potential.
Don't say that. You're gonna give some people some ideas, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's the thing. The kind of people that want that kind of update and would vote yes to it. We're 2 hours and 20 minutes into this podcast. They stopped listening 2 hours and 18 minutes ago.
True. Yeah, you're right. I could kind of see fishing getting a bit of an update. Obviously, it doesn't need it, but I just see it like a whole bunch of casuals see woodcutting got updated, so now they just want to make fishing even easier. Only thing I do want to say is, all said and done, I hope they update construction. I fucking hate construction.
Oh, why? It's a really awesome skill. My favorite skill, actually.
Yeah, whatever, Mr. Rank 1. I don't want to hear it.
Well, it's probably your favorite when you don't buy it.
I'm not saying fucking it's like 70 mil XP of it.
Yeah,
still cost over a bill.
Terrible, man. I'm sorry. I know you are an enthusiast, but literally, like, I don't know, mahogany homes I think are somewhat a step in the right direction, but man, please, there needs to be something not overpowered, just something new to train that's, I don't know, fun.
Okay.
Or different, I guess I should say. Maybe not even fun. Anyway, yeah.
All right, so they're coming out with some like new RuneScape merch type stuff. One of the things is that is RuneScape: The Gift of Guthix. It is the first of 3 planned novels, and it's going to be coming out in May of 2024. You guys got any interest in getting or reading this? And that, what if Mod Ash does an audio book of it? Does that make it more likely that you'd get it? What?
No, that would not be canon. I would not read it. I would not do no audio book listening to any of that stuff.
I think an audio book of it would be pretty cool.
Boogie tried to get me to get into audio books a few years ago, and I still turned his ass down. So I'm not into none of that shit.
The thing I'm interested in, well, I don't know if I'll get it or not, but there's a cookbook.
I saw that as well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at all the recipes, and it's like pretty cool. Like, they basically go through like the RuneScape food, like crumb buns or whatever, and then, you make squid pasta, whatever, for crumb buns or whatever it is. It looks pretty cool. I don't know if I would buy it, because then, shipping, whatever, probably cost me a few hundred just for a book that I won't use, but like, I don't know, it looks pretty cool.
For the Gift of Guthix book, like, you get it on Amazon, so I mean, I don't know what kind of viability it is for you, but like, it was not bad for it was actually like pretty reasonably priced for like us in the US.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into it, but I mean, if it was an audio book, I might listen to it. I don't know. I'd get feedback on what other people think first, and then see if it's worth my time.
I don't know how to read. I use crayons.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Readings for nerds.
I would like to have it. I don't know if I would listen to it, but somebody in my life that's actually kind of made me appreciate the lore side more to RuneScape before I really didn't give that the time of day. I think it's pretty cool, especially like the cookbook that I think Byro brought up. So yeah, I would get it. I don't think I would necessarily listen to it intensely or anything, but I liked it as more of like a item to have for myself.
I'm gonna get it. I've been reading books a little bit more, and I've also been listening to audiobooks a little bit more, as opposed to, like, kind of gotten stuck in a where I was just like listening to the same music, doing the same shit, and I was just kind of getting bored of it. So I've started listening to audiobooks a little bit, and I've got probably shit, probably like 40 or so of them that I'm going to try listening to over the next year or so. But it would be cool if Ash did an audiobook of it. But, I mean, he's not gonna. I don't know if they would, but I think it's cool that they're starting to explore some of the lore and other aspects of the game with stuff like this. So I like it, and I'm getting it. I imagine so. It comes out in May 2024. Weather will be nice. I'll read this shit sitting outside, like on my patio. I'll just kind of be feet up, reading it, and have my dog just running around the yard.
Give us a review when you do.
Yeah. That's how it goes. So like with the books and stuff, it made me then kind of think like, what was the last book that you guys read, like in any kind of capacity?
Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs and Ham. Still never finished it.
I used to really hate reading when I was in school, but now that I'm far removed from it, I have a different appreciation for it. So I do a little bit of reading now. So I was reading like the Game of Thrones first book. I'm in the middle of reading that right now, and manga probably shouldn't count, but I do read Dragon Ball Super as they release.
Ooh, nice. I actually kind of want to read that now that you said that. I'm currently reading, or I should say rereading, the Aragon book series from when I was younger. Kind of started trying to listen to audiobooks, but one thing I particularly picked a book up for was because I kind of wanted to expand my own vocabulary a little more. I think when you read, it definitely makes you like more pay attention and pronounce words that you probably wouldn't normally, or even like understanding sometimes is pretty cool. So I'm enjoying the book, but it's more so for my own personal stuff like that.
I haven't read in a long time. I used to read a ton, but I don't know. I think maybe that's one of the downsides to like being RuneScape oriented, is like things that you can't do while playing RuneScape sort of get lost. But yeah, otherwise, articles, news articles I'll read, but otherwise just listening to stuff.
Do you remember what the last book you read was then?
Oh, just because of high school.
Yeah, well, what was it?
I don't know. It was high school. Like, I wasn't paying attention.
Dude, I was like one of my high school classes, it was fucking miserable. I never read a single, so I took this one class like sophomore year of high school, and it was not fun. But funny enough, I was sitting behind my wife in class in that one. But like, yeah, dude, the class fucking sucked. We had to do all this reading, and then we would have to take a quiz, and I would always like morning of read like some bullet points on the chapter or section, and I'd still fuck up and not do well on it anyway. But
I wonder why.
Wow. Reading in school sucked, but reading just for being told that you have to read, but reading because you feel like it, it hits a bit different.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't remember the last book I read. It was sometime in high school, to be honest.
Yeah.
Fucking hate reading.
I've noticed that they've the mods have kind of been putting that in the like in these news posts that they've been having that have been so long. They've said, "Blah, we know you're not reading. Here's the audio version of it," which is funny.
Dude, they do acknowledge stuff like that nowadays. It's kind of a joke, yeah. Like, hey, we know you're not going to really pay attention to this, but what do you think?
Yeah, like I saw a tweet that they put out, and it was like, "Are you gonna read this?" And they had like the vomit emoji. Here's the audio version of the post. I don't know, but
didn't you say last Hexis podcast too? They said something like along the lines of "your sweet AFK time" and like stuff like that.
Precious Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stay when they do stuff like that, man. I'm just like, come on, man.
That was like the first time they addressed it in that kind of capacity, which was a little concerning. But moving on though, the another one of the like merch items that they're coming out with is the Old School RuneScape Top Trumps. So give a description. It features 30 bosses from across the history of Old School RuneScape. It's apparently a physical card game where you can play against someone else. Like I can tell you, like as someone who bought it, it's it's like for the purchase price of it and then plus shipping, it's like $24. For the whole everything included to the United States. But they kind of said, like, you know, with how it's like you have like the stats for the different bosses when they were released, and you know, you would kind of play it in an idea where it's like, all right, this round, like whoever puts down the biggest boss or the highest level boss or the like the newest released boss or something like just different criterias for that. That's like how they envision people playing it. I don't know how many people will, but what do you think about this, and would you have any interest in playing or getting it?
Probably not playing, but getting it probably for $25, whatever. You know, I'm gonna end up spending more money than that tonight on tacos because I got one taco for $6. Uber Eats sucks. But yeah, I mean, it'd probably be neat to have. So
I definitely wouldn't play it. I'm a little bit off and on about something like this because personally, I think they're just kind of pushing into a realm that's not really their thing. So it just clearly is like a money thing in a sense to me, but also like I do like little things like this, like the cookbook and stuff. I like having RuneScape stuff, and it obviously doesn't affect the game I play, so that's always nice too.
I think I'd only get it if like someone like Jimmy makes a video on it and like has a ton of fun with his friends, just, you know, gives it like a really good sort of rep, then I might go for it. But otherwise, probably not.
I think it's cool and everything, but I don't think I would get it or even play it.
So I've been playing like shit with my wife a bit, and increasingly more so over the last few months.
Shit?
And one of the, like, with it being like $24, I felt like, I mean that's not that bad. And yeah, I mean I bought it. I don't know when the release date of it actually is though, or if that was a pre-order or if it's shipping out now. But I bought it. I think it would be interesting to do, and like, yeah, I mean it'd be cool to have that as just like an item for yourself, but also like that's something that like she doesn't need to have played the game in any kind of capacity to be able to play that game based on how they advertise the gameplay is going to be like. So I think that was fine in that, but yeah, I was surprised. Honestly, I went through the thing because I was just going to like I added it to the cart and went through the process because I was just trying to evaluate how much like it was going to end up costing, and then I saw that shipping was like $7, and I said, okay, I'll just buy this. I was going through it as a podcast topic, but then decided to buy it because it's pretty reasonably priced.
Fair.
But
I guess once again, give us a review on how it goes.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same. I'm curious now too.
Yeah, I mean the artwork on it looks kind of cool too. But all right, next question is, so since it's kind of like a card and board game type thing, it's kind of related to that. What is your favorite board game or card game that you've ever played?
I used to love chess. I don't play play it anymore, but I used to love chess when I was growing up.
Chess Master. I really like Monopoly. Fun game. I mean, not as much skill involved as chess, certainly, but I did like playing Monopoly. And there's like online Monopolies that you can play, but I don't feel like that kind of competes with, you know, the having the physical thing taking up your whole dinner table, and playing from there. But my wife hates the fuck out of Monopoly.
Why?
So there was a stretch when I've got another family member who we all used to live together, and it would be the three of us, and we would play Monopoly. And now here's the thing, like Monopoly was my favorite game like growing up as a kid. I couldn't really tell you why, but like she hates Monopoly because the three of us would play Monopoly, and I had like, it was something like an 11-game win streak or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they both started just plotting and scheming against me to start winning. But she was not a fan of Monopoly.
I don't know, man. Monopoly just feels like slowly being choked out by your family members. Like, I'm not a fan. And that's literally what the gameplay is. Like, just slowly killing off your family. Chess is like I play daily, so I mean I go for that. Otherwise, Scrabble's pretty good.
I would love to see peak Capt King versus Master Byro chess match.
Support that too.
The next HLC competition's chess instead of RuneScape.
Yeah.
Or you guys should just take it to the game room and figure out something there.
Game room doesn't have enough variety.
Shame. They should add it. I still play Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually, I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't compete or anything. I used to play in tournaments when I was younger, but I fucking love Yu-Gi-Oh! Still to death. I still have some cards, but what's up?
Do they still come out with new cards?
Yeah. The game is actually busted as fuck.
Because I know like Pokemon comes out with like new releases like every couple months.
Yeah, pretty much Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Are it's kind of in the same boat in a sense right now. I mean, I'm sure somebody a little more into it could give you more details, but like they pump so much stuff into the game now that it's a balancing issue all around. But that aside, I really love Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, that's what I still play.
So real quick, there used to be this like Toys R Us nearby me when I was growing up, and they would have like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon tournaments on the weekends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure the days at which they were, but it'd be like Saturdays from like 9 to noon, and then like Sundays like 9 to noon, and like one day would be Pokemon, one day would be Yu-Gi-Oh! And then if you attended that, you would then get like, it was some kind of coupon type something. I don't know. I was like 10 at the time, so I don't really recall. But like you'd get some kind of like coupon or discount on like a pack of cards or something like related to those cards on that day. Like they'd give you some little voucher. So I thought that was.
I missed those days.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I missed like when that was just
when I was like younger, not like a lot, but I used to collect like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, I had the like the original 151 Pokemon. I had them all. It was like dude, like it was kind of funny how like I started collecting them, but like I was like 5 years old or something when they were coming out, so like obviously you don't have enough money to fucking do anything, but so like between like 5 and 7 it was something to where like for me to get like Pokemon cards, we would have like at my school we would have you have like all your different subjects that you would have, but one of ours that we had, every Monday we would start the school every Monday you'd get assigned like 30 words or something like that you had to spell. And like Friday you would have a spelling test on all of those words. And my mom would buy me a pack of Pokemon cards if I got 100% on those spelling tests. So, like 5-7-year-old me would always be practicing the spelling and shit like that. And then eventually I was able to get all, because it's not like these were hard fucking words, but for like a 5 or 7-year-old to start learning how to spell. So that's how I was getting cards initially.
I feel like a lot of people know what my favorite card game is.
Well, for those who don't, what is it?
Hold on. Hexis Hold'em. And if that's not going well, Baccarat. And I hate Blackjack.
Well,
That's a card game, right? That counts, right?
yeah, it's a card game. There's cards involved.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, though, is got a handful here left, but what are a couple of your favorite skilling methods that you have done?
Ooh.
Like, what'd you have the most fun doing?
1-tick black chins, shooting with an alt. Apart from that, 3-tick 4G, Gem Knights, Slayer.
Really
I like
nice.
Sep. Sep's pretty good.
You done, or are you gonna keep going through every skill?
That's it. Sorry. I was looking at the skills and I'm like, pretty good.
The question is a couple, not every single one that you had some fun doing.
All right. 1-tick black chins, shooting with an alt. 3-tick 4G.
All right.
Those are my favorites.
I'd say Volcanic Mine and runecrafting with Forerunners. I liked how like runecrafting, it was fucking expensive, but that was one of the things where like a lot of other like high APM methods were tick based, and this necessarily wasn't that. It was just more so how fast can you click, not being on like a tick based rhythm or anything. So that was one thing that was nice about that. And Volcanic Mine, it was just a lot of fun making a shit ton of money for runecrafting, but it was just super rewarding as well. And I liked the team based aspect of it, similar to like how Pyramid Plunder kind of is.
Yeah, I feel like VM is actually really good at like holding the HLC together, like going into the boys and like your clan mates and just having a great day of skilling.
It's nice to experience.
Yeah, my answer though would have to be DriftNet, and I don't understand why people don't like it. Like I get that, but like just I don't know, man. You get in the flow, and it's just so nice. I mean, I get there's no like tick rhythm, but I feel like it's really like if you try and min max it, it's so much fun trying to like work out like okay where to stand, but like there's no fish to click. Yeah, and just trying to path efficiently. I just zone out. I can just do it for so long without even realizing. It's good.
I think the most beautiful method in RuneScape, skilling wise, is 3-tick cut eat barb fishing. I love that shit. I would do that for the rest of my days, really, on RuneScape if I could. I really like Granite a lot myself. As far as AFK stuff, because I just want to bring this a little lot too, I love Baal, actually. I just think that's a really well-balanced thing in game.
Mine would probably be Volcano Mine. That was some good times for 8 months. Fast XP. Didn't think I would even get 200 mil fucking mining. And I don't know, maybe Pyramid Plunder was shitty ass slay.
It was shitty. How the shitty won't even. Yeah,
I think that's mine.
I feel like I would really be neglecting not mentioning the Arty rooftops as well. Got to give a huge shout out.
Oh yeah, that was some good times too.
So yeah, Arty rooftops, Volcanic Mine, and runecrafting lavas with Forerunners. Shit. All right. Next is gonna be what is the biggest achievement? What is your biggest achievement on RuneScape, or like what are you most proud of that you've accomplished?
During Leagues 2, I wanted to go for the most XP, and ended up getting rank 2, but I basically committed my entire like summer holidays to it, and was doing like 14 hours a day while working a casual job. and just not sleeping. It was
Right.
it was good fun, but I sort of regret putting that much effort into a side
gonna
thing.
go
If
hard
I'd done it
on
on my
League
main, nah, I would not do it again. I'll just, if I want to go hard, I'll just do it on my main, because like I could have gotten several 200 mils over that summer holidays instead of just on some stupid thing that doesn't exist anymore. It's just not worth it.
Mine would probably be getting 200 mil.
Yeah.
Fair. Easy answer.
Yep.
So RS3 days, I never maxed. I would always go for like the 120 capes, but never fully maxed because I hated certain skills. So I think maxing my very first account as an iron was a good achievement. Apart from that, probably like 200 mil hunter was one of my favorite achievements, I think, because it was my second 200 mil because range was my first, but it was like a very like niche skill. Like it wasn't something that was like really easy, and a lot of people don't like hunter, but I loved it. It took me a while, but because I skill hopped with it, but I loved hunter. Honestly, that was probably one of my biggest achievements, or living rent free in Ook's Head.
One of my favorites was I had two actually because I was playing my Iron Man for quite a while and now I'm on my main, but my main account way back when was actually like really prestigious in getting the Calcite Queen pet, like back when that was like probably one of the biggest pains in the ass in the game. I was literally like killing the thing off task and void with a Hosta. Good times on that. And then for my Iron Man, I think somebody told me I was like the second Iron Man that got an Eternal Glory, and then the first dude ended up getting banned. I mean, this was like ages before the Wilderness Sword had all its unlimited teleports. Like I was literally like teleporting up with like, because I couldn't get an abundance of glories either. You know, I was really playing inefficient at the time, but I would tele up with 4 glories and then up to Anna Carl with like rune teleports. It was terrible, but I ended up getting it after like. What's up?
When did you get it out of curiosity? Because I got mine in like 2018, like early 2018.
God, I'd have to, after we're done, I'll look it up because I'd have to pull it up on my phone. It's been so long. Probably around that time too. It was just like right before the Wilderness Sword came out pretty much with its unlimited teleports is all I can remember time frame wise. But it took me like 48,000 roughly, I think it was.
Oh,
It was a lot, man. I spent way too much time doing that shit.
I got mine on like 800.
Must be nice. Did you do it with like more than 4 in your inventory too?
Yeah, I was charging him from like doing the rev grind back in the day when Rot controlled revs.
Yeah.
And I had like a bunch of dragon stones before they made the rev drop changes. So this was like back when revs was multi, I believe.
See, yeah, it was before then too, because I got something to say about revs on the next question actually. But yeah, it must have been before then. I'll when we're done here, I'll DM it to you.
The next question.
Oh, well, shit, I wish I said this then. Real quick, if I could just say, then by far, I killed 50k revs back in the day. I completed the entire wilderness on my Iron Man. I was so proud of that, Brand. I got like so much shit on my Iron Man I still haven't even used to this day from that grind, but yeah, that all got devalued to shit.
Yeah, I've done like 80,000 revs back in the day. It was a lot of fun.
Jesus, okay, I thought I was gonna be the king of revs here. God damn, bro, you killed 80?
Yeah,
That's nuts,
I pretty much made that shit with Normies and his brother.
Huh. So like, wait, because the reason I got in was like with Nasty. Like back in that day.
So a friend who was an iron and I wanted to do revs for that reason, but we would always get crashed by other people because it was multi. So we ended up gearing up like 2 of our alts and attacking people off the revs. His brother was in Rot. Rot took over shortly after, like a week or 2 later, and then started charging like 40 mil a week for it or whatever, but I never paid. So I did that for months until Rot fully took over, and then didn't like people. Like if Rot were to tell you something, they expect you to listen and like follow whatever they tell you. Me being belligerent and be like, no, fuck you. It didn't really work out as much. So yeah.
That reminds me a little bit when I was doing black chins. People would ask for a chin tax, like because they knew they couldn't kill you.
Yeah.
They would ask for a chin tax, and I would just say, "I don't negotiate with terrorists."
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, that was some fun times though, man. I think you can agree with me, man. Revs, as crazy as the times that was, man, that was quite fun. Yeah. Would definitely redo that if I had the chance to.
All right. Got a question coming in from Onyx, which is, what would be one of your favorite RuneScape memories? Drag.
Oh, me first. Sorry about that. My favorite RuneScape memory is actually with one of my best friends on this game, Casey. We were way back when grinding out the Barbarian Assault Pet, and we had both been up for like 2 days or something at this point, and both about to go to sleep, and I pulled the pet on like 1,700 high gambles or something like that, and like, I don't know, I was talking to him about this earlier, actually. It's just couldn't recreate a feeling or a time like that, you know, if you tried. There's just complete exhaustion and then just such relief. Like, I still kind of can't believe it, honestly. That shit was so sick.
Mine probably was when I hit top page after I maxed out. Or that massive agility week in EHP Fantasy at all the rooftops.
Would you crack that week like 130 something?
I think I was like shy of like 130. Maybe I was like 127, 128 maybe.
Shit. I mean, I got a lot of things that I really look back on that I had a lot of fun with. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint like one or even 10, honestly. But I know that one time that I was like super surprised was when I ended up like being in the Guinness World Records 2017 for RuneScape, because like I had no idea that I was in it, and I had someone tweet me a picture of me in the book, and I was like, no fucking way. Like, what the I was thinking, like, what the fuck am I looking at? Like, I see Lean's Titan, I see Guinness Book of World Records. What the fuck is going on here? So it was like, for me, that was just like a mega surprise. I mean, a lot of the other things that I've, had in the game where I've had a ton of fun with has been, I don't want to say like according to plan or anything, but like it's been, like 200 mil all was an amazing memory and achievement and feeling, but like I knew it was coming. Winning the skilling cups, every one that they've ever had ever. I knew that was happening before, like they even started or before they finished or anything like that. So like there's been a lot of fun, but I think that was probably one of the times, like getting in the Guinness Book of World Records, that to me was like the most surprising thing that I had. And is one thing that, I ended up framing the page that I'm on. So I don't know if I would say that's my favorite, but that's one that definitely was like took me by most surprise that I got to experience.
For me, it'd just be
My other one would be like when I got 200 mil fire making. I streamed 200 mil fire making outside in the garage, and it was like touching the ceiling.
That was I was thinking like, damn.
I think too. Somebody was saying or something like that, and like I think that was the same night that I was trying to bring my computer and my monitors and shit back inside, and I think I only got my monitors upstairs, and I just flopped on the bed because I was so fucking drunk.
Bro, your streams are some hidden gems, like no cap.
I can't do fucking shit. Ever since I got banned, I turned it down, do nothing crazy. And I'm afraid something will happen, so I get banned over stupid shit again.
Yeah.
Favorite memory is really hard to think of, to be honest. The only two that really come to mind was like the COVID days, I think. Being in Discord all day long with everybody, like just gaming, chilling, just BM, skilling, whatever the fuck, fantasy comps, RIP. But like just anything like COVID related probably, or like back in like RS3 days or pre-EOC days, being a dice host or a flower host, you know, with one of my good friends who I fortunately got the chance to meet like 10 years later. But he's not around anymore. So, but
He's
like
dead.
that was probably one of the good things because like him and I like grew up together on this game, and it was like
Did he die?
yeah. So
Oh shit.
long story short, we've known each other for like 10 years or some shit like that. And so we ended up going to EDC Vegas like 2021 or whatever together. And or he was there, and so we met up, and that was like the first time we ever met up. That's the first person I've ever met from RS. And you know, we had a great weekend. And I guess when he went home that Monday or whatever, he ended up getting in a car crash. And so it was like very weird. You know, you've known this guy for 12 years, and you finally meet him, and he's gone like 3 days later. Not to bring like sadness into the podcast or anything, but like, yeah, it's brutal. But like, that's probably one of my best memories. You know, I'm thankful that I at least got to meet him though too. But like back then, the RS2 days were really, really enjoyable.
It's hard to top that. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, that's the only thing that comes to mind really is just, you know, meeting people or like it's like just like growing up in this game. Like, you know, we all probably started playing this game at a very young age and we still play it in our fucking 20s. Like, you know, there's you learn a lot about life, I feel like, from this game in a way. You know, maybe it's from little things like trusting people because you got scammed or hacked or whatever the case is, or just like learning about different people and like being social and stuff. Like, I don't know. Some of the, you know, some of my best friends I have are from this game or the military, one of the two. That's the way I look at it.
My favorite memory would just be like being in the competition with your clan, your teammates. And, you know, you're all like sort of sleep deprived and just sort of motivating each other to keep going. Just like that team.
The COVID days, man. The COVID days were fire. Were you ever in the
There's certainly going to be a lot of that going on when Sailing drops.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Byro, were you ever in the Anvil Discord back in the day during COVID with like myself,
Nah.
Dicko, like
Never been in Anvil.
no? But those were fun times.
All right, so wrapping up here, give a shout out to a random RuneScape player. We've shout out to Rig and also shout out to XA1E. Both or one or of them. So Rig wasn't able to make it, and then we got the replacement, and then he wasn't able to make it. So that's why we got 5, is because those were unable to make it. Shout out.
Some of the people I've like appreciated the most is like the ones I see on like a daily basis, like at the same place, like every day for years. But, like you never speak to them, but you just always see them and recognize them. So like shout out to Mather, one of the top Ironmen, Nevjash, Werlo, Lofty. But like I think they've stopped playing. But yeah.
Shout out to Ooptism, my #1 supporter.
Shout out to Capt King. Yes! Fucking gains to the mains!
I was waiting for that. I've been waiting for that this whole podcast.
We need another chicken nugget eating contest from you, bud.
I don't think my mic picked up when I was screaming, yeah, give a fuck.
You got so loud that you got so loud that your mic just tapped out and said enough, bro. Like you've hit the limit.
Shout out Spider Girl and Casey. He's like my best friend in game and really dear friend to me, RO. Also, one other thing I want to say shout out wise, free Dennis, man.
Yeah, free Dennis.
He is allowed to join the voice chat as much as he likes.
Yeah, but I kind of miss him in the CC.
Free my homie Dennis. He ain't did nothing.
Bring back Dennis. Man, I miss Dennis.
All right, what's everyone been up to during the podcast?
Can we do a collective shout out to goth girls?
Negative.
Damn it.
What have you been doing, Drag?
Election log.
Oh, it's always me first. My bad. Dude, I've been doing day alt. Shout out, balance, skilling content, AFK.
XP and clicks are dead at blast furnace. Don't ask what I've been sitting in the past few hours.
I just been AFK and shooting stars in my shitty ass group I am in, so
Nothing on the main.
standing around. Gonna get those days up.
Jesus Christ.
I've been doing the stupid forestry stuff, and I just got the collection log for the stupid necklace and the whistle. So that's what I've been doing.
I've been killing mole on my main, 4422 kill count, still no pet, and slaying on my alt. So that's going to do it, though, for the 87th Hexis podcast. You should kind of expect the next one to be around November 11th-ish. Probably release on a Saturday. I know that's Sunday on the 12th. I got to work until 11:30, and then the Vikings play at noon. So I'd say expect the next podcast to come out like November 11th, and we'll see what we can get on that podcast. But I mean, I feel like the topics are like, I can already tell you, topics for that are gonna be Fortis Coliseum, Perilous Moons, the Jagex launcher, other community specific topics, and anything else that happens to come up between then and now. Like, had to delete so many different topics from this one. Like, there's just so much going on. Slow it down, boys. But
we probably would have still been going for like an hour probably.
Oh yeah, and then imagine like had we had the sixth one in as well, it'd have been really fucking long. But all right, Cap, can you end us with the gains to the mains here?
Yes.
Let's cut me the fuck out. I'm the fucking idea that keeps cutting me the fuck out.
All right, that level that you were at right there.
To the mains. Everyone like, follow, subscribe, whatever. Peace the fuck out and have a good day and keep making those gains.
Oh yeah. See you guys.